of the ultimate power in the universe.
Last we will be ourselves.
I have a bad feeling about this.
You are now tuned into LightSaber Radio. If you only knew the power of darkness.
Here it comes. Let's go.
You are now tuned into LightSaber Radio. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello there.
Welcome to LightSaber Radio, the most outrageous Star Wars show on the web. If you haven't already done it, make sure you smash that subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you will be notified of all of our future episodes. Also, don't forget to press that like button. It helps get these videos in front of other Star Wars fans so they can get in on the outrageousness. So how's everyone doing today?
What was that? He's
I'm doing good. Damn it, Garrison! You normally go first.
I figured I'd let you have the chance.
Y'all are
bro.
special.
I wanted to see who would
Y'all
pull the
just both
trigger.
sitting there.
All right, fine.
I
I
was
will
like,
go first
Garrison.
from now on. I go first. CJ, I'm more important. I go first.
What?
I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
No,
that
they
was a
save
joke.
the best for last,
That
don't
was a
you know?
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
What's going
I'm
on,
tired.
Malcolm? What's going
I have a
on,
lot
Chris?
of
What's
homework.
going on, Bodie?
Malcolm.
What
I'm
did
most
Malcolm
likely
say?
going to miss the live stream because I got to cut the grass. But can y'all say my name? It'll be cool to hear it when I go back and listen on Spotify.
Yep, I got you.
Oh no! Well, you got work.
Say my name, say my name.
Malcolm.
Malcolm. You're so extra.
I've been saving that for a minute. I knew somebody was going to say that sooner or later, so I've been had to say it forever.
Oh,
We got you, Malcolm.
You're so fucking extra. This is not even funny.
Okay, so today we are going to be... cancel. Don't do that. So on today's show, we're going to be talking about the Force, which side we think is stronger, and a little bit of the philosophies of this mythical force that they talk about so much on Star
Not
Wars.
mythical. It's real.
It's real.
Binds us.
In our world, it's real, but to everybody else, it's just mythical and magical, and a lot of people say it's bullshit. What's going on, Clint? What's going on, Bodie? What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Did CJ ever get his 25-pound steak?
That
what,
shit ain't. We
Chris,
ain't
go
never
fuck
gonna let that
yourself.
shit down.
That was
We
not
are
funny.
never
That was
going
so
to let
funny.
that shit down ever. Forever, ever. You're going to be hearing about that. But before we get to that, and the 25-pound steak, we're going to get to the Housebreaker.
What?
What you
I
got,
don't want
Garrison?
the Hothbreaker. I want that 25-pound steak now.
Yeah,
Just
me
to
too,
say-
because I can feed my whole family for about a month with that fucking big motherfucker.
I don't know. With the way my son and I eat, it'll last a week.
So what's the Housebreaker? What we got?
All right, Heartbreaker. So would you rather be the servant to live-action Palpatine or to Lego Star Wars Palpatine?
Hey, you stole that. I seen a meme that said that.
Yeah, I know. It was a great idea, and I feel like it needed to be discussed.
Do I get tortured? Or am I just like bringing him shit and being
I don't
I
know.
don't know, dude. You just
Lego
follow around, do
Palpatine
whatever
seems
you
like
want.
an asshole. But he seems like he's more fun.
Yeah, bro. I'd rather do live action because Lego Palpatine's like unpredictable. You never know
Yeah.
what's going on.
He's just very, very strange.
He's like a child. I'd rather take care of the old one because, like, yeah, the live action might be a lot more like mean and evil, but at least if you don't mess up, you'll be fine. Like, at least he's like competent and like fair. It's to some point.
Well, and like in the Lego one though, he doesn't really send Vader to do his bidding.
Or Robot Chicken Palpatine. Fuck.
Oh, I would so take Robot Chicken Palpatine.
All you have to do is hold the
My lord.
elevator for him, and boom,
Yeah.
you're like his favorite.
A private elevator, that way he doesn't have to go up the escalator to deal with the stormtroopers. I don't know. I'm stuck between the two.
I don't know either. That's kind of hard.
I feel like
It's
that
gonna
was a
suck
question that needed to
regardless.
be asked.
So
Yeah, either way, you're still dealing with Palpatine.
I don't know. I'd rather serve Palpatine than flipping The Hutt.
That's a good one.
I'd rather serve.
I don't know
Palpatine
because I'm a
than
dude. I'm
Jabba
not
the
gonna be
Hutt.
wearing a swimsuit and a choker collar.
Hey,
you know?
dude, maybe like Jabba the Hutt's in the mood for it. Maybe he's like bi. Maybe he can swing that way, and that's just gonna be awkward. I'd rather just serve Palpatine.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
okay.
know. Either way, it's gonna suck. You know what I'm saying? Palpatine just being Palpatine because he just might decide he don't like you and just force electrocute your ass.
Yeah, but like at least live action, you'd have to give him a reason to not like you. Like you'd have to be an incompetent servant. And Lego Star Wars, it could be like,
And then Palpatine probably wouldn't even kill you. He just have Vader do it. Like, kill him. Like, please kill him. I don't like that dude.
Chris said,
So-
you could just reassemble yourself if you were a Lego and he killed you. That's fair.
Yeah, that's true.
You could just rebuild yourself.
That's definitely true.
Why you gotta be so valid?
Hey, that's good. We need somebody to make some sense on here because we're just idiots.
Hey. Speak for yourself, man. I'm genius. Watch, you're
I'm
about
not.
to
I'm a
see-
fucking idiot.
You're
Self-proclaimed
about to see,
genius.
when we get into this Force discussion, you're about to see my intelligence, my genius, my
You're-
wisdom.
Okay, we're gonna see.
I don't think
your wisdom.
you're gonna win the argument here. If there comes an argument, I think Kyle's gonna take it.
I don't know because my philosophy is just based off of a bunch of books. So
Yeah, the real shit, not this stuff that we got from everything else. That we're seeing from Lego and the last 3 movies.
Last 3 movies are irrelevant. Fuck the last 3 movies.
Thank God.
I'm just kidding. Sorry. I need to stop being so negative.
Oh, shut up.
well, like I said, I'll watch them. But,
Those last 3
I'm
movies are
almost-
worthy.
I'm the most pessimistic SOB. All right.
Oh, I'm over here talking, but I'm still right on it. Okay, didn't nobody hear that? You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't hear anything. I'm trying to type on the damn phone. I'm trying to post to Instagram right now.
I didn't hear anything. You've just been quiet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Y'all didn't hear nothing?
No.
I heard nothing.
Oh, shit. Now
I
I
have
just
my
told
good
myself.
headphones
Accidentally-
too, man. I
you
didn't hear a
accidentally
damn
pull up
thing.
the hub, and it was like,
So we were in Walmart the other day, and this kid, no, it was Winco. Tori and I were shopping, and this kid sneezes, and he goes, "Achoo!" and he goes, "Ha!" Just like that, and I'm like, he literally, and I looked at Tori. I was like, "Did he just have an orgasm while he sneezed?"
he's on a reality show. He's like, yeah, I need to see the doctor. Why do you need to see the doctor today? I orgasm every time I sneeze.
It's just the way it sounded, and Tori just couldn't take it. We had to leave Winco. That's how bad that was.
I don't know. That's better than having a heart attack every time you sneeze. Like when my dad sneezes, achoo!
Jesus.
or when my wife sneezes, I swear it's Snow White. Achoo! Oh, excuse me.
God.
It's the 3 extremes of sneezing. You either have an orgasm, you sneeze like a little Disney princess, or you're screaming. They say a sneeze is 1/3 of an orgasm. That's bullshit.
I get no satisfaction. It hurts every time I sneeze. Fuck off.
If that was true, guys would be jerking their noses off. I don't think that's accurate. I've never seen a guy jerking his nose.
I would try to sneeze every time I'm having sex. That way,
Maybe
it's
that's
a
why
more
children
intense
finger
one.
their nose.
That's just nasty.
What the
What
fuck
did you
was
do?
that,
Oh, God,
Garrison?
yeah, that was just,
Picking your nose.
that was just
Maybe
Wow.
finger your nose. Jeez, okay, never mind. Too far.
I know what
I'll
you're
put
saying, but
myself in
geez.
timeout.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down, but I don't want to.
That was
Oh,
just
Garrison,
terrible.
don't go.
Garrett's just left. He left. He said, screw this. I ain't even going to be on here.
It was like us
Don't
too far.
go.
All right. I'm done. All right. Are we ready to get to this? We ready to get to this discussion that's been being argued about for 1,000 years now, since the beginning of Star Wars. This is going. I got some stuff for you. You better be prepared. All right. So, who wants to go first? Who wants to start off Okay,
Babe,
let's start off like this. Let's start off like this.
What does that sound?
her
I feel
phone.
creepy.
I thought
Your
I
phone
muted my
really got
mic.
freaking.
Yeah.
What's
Tori,
that from?
she gonna
Fuck.
kill you in your sleep.
from, like-
Oh,
you gonna
trust
be
me.
asleep and wake up
Friday the 13th or something.
like.
Oh, trust me, I know. And I'm just accepting of it. That's what makes the sex fun and the relationship enjoyable. Not knowing what the day is going to turn into.
That's what makes the sex.
Okay,
fun.
is it
I
one
never
third
know
or
if
is
I'm
it
gonna
truly
die or
like
not.
having an orgasm? That's what I want to know. Come on, Chris. If it's 1/3 of an orgasm, is it truly 1/3 of an orgasm, or is it just
Yeah, then I could
1/3 of
sneeze
some
3
made up
times,
shit?
and it would feel just as good. I feel like that's bull.
1/3 though? I don't know. 1/3. That's at that beginning stage when it's like, but it's not yet coming, and you're getting there, and you're like, and then you're like, all right, is it gonna come yet? And then it just goes, oh shit, and then you're like, okay.
Hey, let's just not talk about that.
You know that's the
what?
most addictive thing on the planet. Well, actually, I
Sneezing?
think cell phones done beat it out, but
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
okay. So let's start off like this. Bodie says I come every time I sneeze. Y'all don't? You lucky son of a bitch.
I'm sorry. You could be in the middle of Walmart grocery shopping and then you. Oh, you poor bastard.
Hey man, I watched the special on that. What is that? The Real Stories of the ER.
Oh,
And there was
yeah.
this chick that couldn't stop having orgasms. Like she would have orgasms like
that
every
was
5 seconds.
That was disturbing.
Yeah, that shit just looked like it sucked. Could you imagine having like an orgasm every 5 seconds? Like just, oh, shit.
But part
Okay,
of me
okay.
would like,
Oh, shit.
yeah. I saw this thing too. That's so funny. We both saw this. Part of me would want to be like, let me live a day just to see what it's like, so I can empathize. Because I honestly can't even empathize with that. I don't even know what that would be like.
It would
You know
be
what I mean?
terrible. You couldn't get shit accomplished if you just
Yeah,
busted
so
nuts
give me,
all
like,
day. Oh,
one
that shit would be
day.
terrible.
Give me one day where I don't have anything to do and let me experience that. See what that's like.
That shit would be painful after a while. It would just start to hurt. Like, oh no, please no more hurt. Okay.
I'm done. Please stop.
All right, let's change the topic. No more orgasms.
Hey, I wonder if
You
Jedi
started
can have
this.
force orgasms.
We talked about this before, didn't we?
Oh,
The
did we?
Jedi can use
Yes,
it.
we did. Yes, we did.
Like forced masturbation. That would be awesome. Okay. Let's ask the first question, the main question. Which side do you guys really think is the strongest side of the force?
All right, I will start because my answer is correct. So let's start with the correct answer first. I'm just kidding. So I think that depends. If you're talking about which user is more powerful, I think the dark side user can be more powerful, right? But which side do I think is more powerful? I think it's the light side, and here's why. Okay, the force is throughout everything, right? The force has like a will. It's like destiny, whatever you want to call it, but the force has a will. I think the force works through Jedi, right? So Jedi are tools in the hands of the force. They seek to follow the will of the force. Where if the force wants the Jedi to be powerful, the Jedi will be super powerful. But I don't think the force, like by the will of the force, doesn't seek to make one Jedi ruler of them all. The force seeks to have destiny happen, whether that be through one Jedi or multiple Jedi. Now, on the flip side, on the dark side, they're bending the force. They are bending the force to their own will. And by doing that, the force can only bend and stretch so much, right? And because like Darth Revan looked at the force as like a battery. And I think that's why. The more dark side users bending and stretching the force, the less powerful it's going to be, right? So when you have one dark side user, the only one bending and stretching the force and manipulating the force, he can be super strong and he can do almost anything, right? Because there's only one guy bending and stretching that force. But meanwhile, on the light side, they're not bending the force to their will. They're following the force's will. So they're as powerful as the force wants them to be in that time, kind of like destiny. So if you look at it, Luke, he wasn't trained as much as Palpatine, right? Palpatine had all the training. He was bending the force to his will, super powerful, right? But because Luke was following the will of the force allowed him to be strong and defeat Vader and to save the day, basically, because he was being a tool he was a vessel for the force. So I think in the light side, there's not really a limit. It's just whatever the force allows you to be at that time. Meanwhile, the dark side, on average, each user is probably going to be more powerful because they're bending the force to do what they want it to do.
But
Did
then
that
you
make
are-
sense?
But then, I mean, it does. But then at the same time, you got to think about it like this. Okay, so you have oh, shit, shut up. You have the force, right? And the force is, the way that it's described is it's what binds the galaxy together. It flows in and out of every living thing in the galaxy. And it binds the entire galaxy together. So if it's an energy force that is binding the galaxy together and it's holding everything together, and it's in every living thing, every atom.
You're taking my Obi-Wan quote?
Yes, Clinton, correct.
Inanimate, whatever, however you say that shit. Every
Inanimate.
object, it's just everything.
Inanimate.
It's all together. My question is this, okay? If metachlorians live within the blood cells of a person, is the force controlling the metachlorians in the body? You know what I'm saying? Or in the object, or where, because metachlorians is everywhere. They're a living energy force, whatever, however you want to describe it. If they're controlling everything, so if they go pick up a rock, it's the metachlorians in the rock that allows the rock to fly. You know what I'm saying? Because you're controlling those metachlorians, or you're allowing the force to control the metachlorians. Or in a person, you pick the person up, you throw the person, and say you're actually lifting up the metachlorians that's in the body that is the force, and then throwing it. So if you take somebody like the dark side, my thing is this: the dark side is more powerful indirectly because it doesn't have no longevity to it. The light side has longevity to it. That's what Yoda's theory was, and I don't know if it's correct, but Yoda's theory was that the light side, the dark side was strong, but the light side would always prevail. It was always stronger in the long run because, of course, Jedis can live a lot longer than Sith kids because the dark side is constantly withering away at their body. So, unless you're somebody like fucking Ex-Harkoon or Vishian or somebody that, learns some damn Sith technique that can suck the force out of other people and give you more life. The average Sith person. But at the moment, because they're using emotion, they're stronger. That was why Darth Bane and, Revan and them could just, conquer multitudes of Jedi. But, so the real question is, and this is something that I got from the Father. The Father says, I can control them. A family in balance. Day with night, destruction replaced by creation. So that's telling you that they're equal. They're at an equal point at all times. Now, if you're looking at the individual and what they're using, it's all based on their metachlorian count. It's going to be based on their raw power or their raw rage or their self-control. And if you're looking at individuals, 90% of the time, a Sith will beat a Jedi because they're just more powerful at the moment in a battle. But that doesn't really describe the dark side and the light side, because the dark side and the light side are exact equals. The father and the son and the daughter were exact equals. Neither one of them was stronger than the other. The father had to control them. He had to keep them one from being more powerful than the next. But did that change when the father died? Did that change? Because Anakin didn't take his role as the so-called chosen one, which that's a whole nother topic, but as the chosen one to control both the light and the dark. The father dies. Now, does that mean that when does one side of the force become stronger? And the daughter dies, technically, so... You know what I'm saying? Now you just got the strong dark brother that would say that the dark side would be stronger because there's not really a light side left in the sense of the two parts. There would be just the dark side would be stronger after that point. but we didn't really see that. I mean, of course, Palpatine, but that was out of manipulation. That wasn't necessarily the Force that allowed that to happen. It was just manipulation. He did that because of manipulation and thousands of years of planning that Bane did, or 1,000 years of planning that Bane did, and from each master to apprentice, and they set all the shit up for years and years and years, and Palpatine executed. So it's kind of hard to say. In all reality, the Force itself is equal, dark and light. There is no dark and light. It's just the Force.
Right.
If you really go by what the thing. The most powerful people would be people like Revan and the ancient Jedi, or however you say their name, because they followed the balance. They were more like the gray Jedi. They used both dark and light. So when it comes now, then it goes off the philosophy of the people. You know what I'm saying? Who's using the Force and what are they using it for, on how powerful they're going to be.
Yeah, and I think that also goes back to like the philosophy of both sides. Like I said before, like the philosophy of the dark side is to use the Force to make yourself powerful, right? And meanwhile, I think the Jedi, they're constantly trying to seek the balance of the Force and the will of the Force. So they're not trying to necessarily become powerful themselves. Their ideal is to do what the Force wants them to do and to follow the will of the Force, whatever that might be. And so if that means killing the Sith, sure. If that means being Obi-Wan and letting yourself die, sure. I think it's a lot more passive and more like, let's do what the Force wants me to do, rather than, hey, let me use the Force to be strong, if that makes sense.
I'm going to share my screen and my arguments through somebody else real fast.
Okay. If you agree with what their philosophy is, then share it. While you're doing that,
yes,
going
I
off
agree.
of what Kyle said, so midichlorians are living symbionts. Do you think the more a person uses the Force, do they exhaust them or enhance, strengthen them? I don't know.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Tell
I
me
can see
when.
it on the thing. Okay, there you go.
Ready?
How long
Who
is
is
this?
this?
Star Wars cartoon. So even
2
I get
minutes.
hate from Star Wars fans when I'm like, look, dog, you're just mad the franchise isn't aging with you.
Right.
But that ain't how it works. The first one was for fucking kids.
Right. Yep.
The second 3 were for different fucking kids. And this one is for kids. You're just pissed off that Han Solo gave the fucking Millennium Falcon to a girl.
Yeah.
That's it. Because Luke Skywalker.
So hold on real
What is it-
fast.
What does
So
this
hold
have
on
to
real
do with the
fast.
Force?
Hold on. He gets into that. I was going to explain that first. I
Well, then
forgot
get to that part, because we're going to get kicked off of YouTube if you keep playing this shit.
I believe 45 seconds in. I believe.
Luke's skill doesn't dictate whether he wins or loses.
Right.
The Emperor doesn't
There we
dictate
go.
whether he
Here
wins
it
or
comes.
loses. The Force dictates who wins or loses based on balance. And here's the quick version on how to explain it to all these people who fucking think they get to decide. In the first if you want to do this like time-wise, Palpatine, you would say, and Yoda are the smartest too. Palpatine clearly smarter because Yoda was blind to the power of the dark side and the seduction of Anakin. So let's talk about the seduction of Anakin fucking Skywalker for a second. If the Emperor is the smartest...
So this is a 2 minute and 30 something video. Pretty much the whole video. I can stop sharing this. It's a little bit longer than I wanted to play. I thought I picked on the one specific part, but I didn't. Now can't find it. But Freddie Prinze goes on a rant stating that the Force, he was taught the Force by the man himself, Dave Filoni, who was taught by George Lucas. George wanted a balance. So if there's 2 Sith, there's 2 Jedi, right? In A New Hope, Obi-Wan, Luke, Palpatine, Vader. You kill Luke, like he'll explain it in the video. If you were to kill Luke, the Force is still going to balance itself out. It's going to give us another fucking Force user. That is how the Force works. It is all about balance. And that's what the Mortis art gave us, was the balance. The Father was the balance between the light and the dark.
He was the scale.
Yeah. The Force in this aspect, in A New Hope, Empire, all that, was the fact that there was 2 Sith, 2 Jedi, and that was it.
Are you trying to tell me that George is a fucking idiot? Because then he went back and made the prequels and made a whole bunch of Jedi and fucking 2 Sith.
But
and there was
okay,
like
so hold
1,000
on.
Jedi.
So you can sit there and say that. You can sit there and say that he's a fucking idiot, but at the end of Revenge of the Sith, how many Jedi were left that we saw on the screen? Yoda and Obi-Wan. How many Sith were left on the screen in Revenge of the Sith?
Well,
Yeah,
even,
we also
even
have
if you look
Vader-
at New
all
Hope,
the other people that people thought survived.
well, look
that's
at
the
New
thing.
Hope.
Outcast
Even
Fest
Obi-Wan
is-
says it in the
Hold
New
on.
Hope.
That's the thing. George didn't plan for Disney to bring back all these fucking characters.
Well,
At the end of Revenge of the Sith, there were 2 Jedis, Yoda and Obi-Wan, and there were 2 Sith, Palpatine and Vader.
Well, if he didn't plan it, then why did he say in the New Hope the Jedi used to be the protectors of the galaxy? There was thousands of them. Why would he say
Yes.
that in the New Hope if
But
there wasn't
every
a
time
plan
there's
on him coming out with more Jedis? That was the plan the whole time for him to come out with more Jedis.
But if you look, yes, they talked about it in New Hope. But what happened in Revenge of the Sith? The Force had balanced itself. It was tired of the mass amounts of Jedi and very minimalistic Sith. You had 2 to 3 Sith before Revenge of the Sith happened in Order 66, right? But at the end of Revenge, you had 2 and 2. You have 3, you have 3. You know, there's always a fucking balance when it comes to the Force. And that's what Freddie Prinze was saying that Dave was told by George Lucas. George Lucas told Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni taught Freddie Prinze, and so forth. The balance of the Force is always a thing. And that's why I like Dave Filoni's Mortis arc from Clone Wars. It is the balance. The Father is the scale. You have
That just means the Force is equal. That's what I just said. The
That's-
Force
yeah,
is
but-
always in an equal point. And that's the thing. Like, so when Darth Bane and Darth Xander was the only 2 Sith, and then you had all the Jedis that there was. Darth Bane and Darth Xander was more powerful than all of them because they were the balance on that scale. It was just 2 to 1,000 or however many there was. But the balance was still in balance. It was still balanced. It took 1,000 years or 950 years for them to go. And then at that point, when they killed off, now you have Palpatine and Vader, and you have Obi-Wan, but there was still other Jedis out there. But see, that's where people get to fail to realize on the balance because there was other Force users out there because we still had the Dark Jedis that were still out there. There were still the Dathomirian sisters, the Night Sisters. There was
the
still
Night Sisters
other,
were killed off.
There was still other. They were still Force ghosts. They're still Force ghosts. That's still Force energy. So all the dead Sith that wasn't in the thought bomb because they were all sucked into the thought bomb, but all the other Sith that died, even though you can't see their spirits, doesn't mean that part of the Force is still not there. They're still there. You don't ever die. You just go into the Force. So the Force is always at balance. No matter how many people is out there, it's always going to be at balance because it's not going to go anywhere. So no matter how many, let me, where was that at? Let me find where this is at because it describes.
I don't know. I think the best explanation as a kid that I got about the Force was Obi-Wan's from A New Hope. The Force is what gives the Jedi his power. It's an energy field that is created by all living things. It surrounds us. It penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together.
Right. And
But that is a positive view from a Jedi.
Right,
Well,
and I think that's very particular what he says. He says it gives the Jedi his power. I think Jedi receive the Force and Sith take the Force.
So this is what
their views behind it and how
this is what Darth Revan told Bane. He says, "I am Darth Revan, Dark Lord of the Sith. Those who use the dark side are bound to serve it. To understand this is to understand the underlying philosophy of the Sith. The dark side offers power for power's sake. You must crave it, covet it. You must seek power above all else, with no reservation or hesitation. The Force will change you. It will transform you. Some fear this change. The teaching of the Jedi are focused on fighting and controlling this transformation. That's why those who serve the light are limited in what they accomplish." basically the Jedi are selfless. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They look out for others. They do that. So it causes them, they're basically following their mantra is basically following a selfless manner.
Right. So by the very nature, they're not seeking power. So they can't become as strong as Sith.
Yeah, the Sith is going to be stronger because they seek out power. And that's why when Bane, when Revan was telling Bane that there can only be one ruler of the Sith. And one master or one complete ruler of the Sith, and then every master can only take one apprentice, because if you take two apprentices, weaker people will team up together and conquer the master. The weaker apprentices would wake up together or work together to overthrow that master. That means you got two weaker Sith they're not becoming as strong as the one master. They teamed up. So, every master can only have one apprentice. And that's why Bane came up with the philosophy of the ruler too. He was like, you have one master, you have one apprentice. When the apprentice gets strong enough to kill the master, he takes over as the master position. That way the Sith are always getting stronger. And you ain't got a bunch of people sucking on the battery, sucking on that force thing, and everybody trying to compete for a position. There wasn't nobody to compete for that position except the apprentice. The apprentice is the only person they gonna learn as much as they can from the master, and when they feel that their abilities is good enough to kill the master. And if their abilities ain't strong enough, then they lose, and the master gets another apprentice and starts over again. Right. It changed with Plagueis, because Plagueis learned how to keep from dying. You know what I'm saying? He started learning, which we don't know. I mean, it could have been Bane, because we don't know if essence transfer ever worked with Bane and Xana, because Xana, like, some of the things that Xana said sounded like Bane. And some of the things Xana said sounded like, if you listen to the end of the book kind of is like, it makes you question both sides. And I think that's the reason Drew wrote it like that, is because he wanted you to question. He wanted, is that Bane? Did Bane go, it was Palpatine Bane? And you know what I'm saying? He was like, dude, I already conquered the galaxy, so I ain't got to worry about it no more. I'm the most powerful, smartest, whatever. I've done this for 1,000 years. Ain't nobody going to be able to be better than me. So, there's just a lot of different, there's a lot of different things. And Bodhi, yes, that is so, but you got to remember when Bane was looking at the holocron, when he was creating his Sith holocron, he was still a Sith. So yes, he did change afterwards. But when he made the holocron that Bane found, he was Darth Revan.
Right. And I think that's an important distinction, though, because it shows how differently the dark side and the light side view the Force. The dark side view the Force as a battery, because only so many people, the Force can only be bent so far. Only so many people can bend the Force to their own will. And I think the light side, they're not seeking to bend the Force. They're seeking to bend their will to the Force.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, see, and that's why there could be more Jedi than Sith.
Yeah, and that's why I think
Sith was a weakness.
Yeah,
the Sith was a weakness, and the reason they kept failing was because of in-battling.
Right.
The Jedi didn't have no in-battling, so there wasn't no strain. Everybody wasn't trying to use the Force to conquer each other, so they wasn't putting all this strain on them like they were on the dark side. But the strain that they got put on the dark side, Sith don't live that long. Like, Palpatine was freaking old for,
Sith, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't, like, that old. I mean, he's like 50, and look at him. He looked like shit. And then he shocked himself and made himself look like worse. But he looked like shit to begin with. And he wasn't that old. Because the dark side just destroys your body. You don't live to be that long because it's constantly destroying your body, because you're feeding off your own metachlorians. And that was one of the things that the Jedi got wrong when it came to Anakin and Yoda and them, because they were sending back, oh, you got a high metachlorian count, you're going to be stronger. Bane didn't have that high of a metachlorian count. You know what I'm saying? Bane wasn't out there. They didn't even know what Bane's metachlorian count. It wasn't that high. He just was smart. He figured that cunning was the smartest part of being a Sith, not raw power. It didn't have to do with being raw power. Like, he couldn't even beat the dude that taught him. Dude was about to kill him. He had to crush he said, why am I even fighting this guy? Like, why don't I just take this whole temple and just use the Force to drop the tipple on top of him. I'm trying to beat him in something that I can't beat him in. He taught me how to use a lightsaber. I'm not going to be able to beat him in a lightsaber battle. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? And Zaina beat Bane the same way. I'm not going to beat him with raw strength. He's 290, giant man, and I'm this little skinny girl. I'm not going to beat him with raw strength. So what did she use? She used his sorcery. That's how she was able to beat Zane, if she beat Bane.
Right.
So that was Bane's whole concept was, we are never going to be able to beat the Jedi with raw strength, with armies and shit like that, because their longevity, they're meant to last longer. We're not meant to last that long. So we got to beat them with cunning. You know, we got to be smarter than them. And basically that's what the Sith did. They just constantly set up things for 900 and some years until Palpatine took over. They just set up, you know, just controlling, putting rumors out, controlling, getting involved in the banking clan, getting in control of that, getting in control of the Trade Federation, getting in control of all these different things until Palpatine just was the last person and he figured out, okay, I got it. It's all figured out for me already. You got to think about Palpatine is not the one that set all this stuff up. He was just one of the Sith that was in a long line of people that were setting this stuff up. He just the one to execute it. He was in a perfect position to execute it, and he did it. Because you got to understand that Plagueis was he was whatever they're called, the species. That is the banking clan. He was a member of the banking clan. So he controlled all the money. And when you're in that position, you can make big fucking decisions on the galaxy. And he set up Palpatine to be in that position. And then Palpatine killed him in his sleep, which was weak of Palpatine because Palpatine knew he couldn't beat him standing up. He knew he couldn't beat his master. And that goes back to the philosophy of the weaker. And that's why Palpatine was basically run the Galactic Empire for 20 years and then died. Right. Because he was weak. He was not meant to be the master. He could not beat Plagueis in a battle. But we're going off of Sith and Jedi. The real question is, what is better? Is the dark side more powerful than the light side? And in all reality and everything that I looked at and everything that I researched, they're exactly the same.
Right.
One is not more powerful than the other. It all depends on the person using it, what their abilities are, and what they've learned to do. Because you could take a weak-ass Sith person, teach that person some dope-ass Sith, you know what I'm saying, alchemy and Sith freaking, you know what I'm saying, sorcery and shit, and they can conquer some shit. They don't even have to be that strong.
Right.
But
I think it's completely different philosophies, right? It's bending the will and total. I think it also reflects a lot in real life. You have this life of indulgence, power, money, fame seeking, and then you have the life of moderation and contentment and happiness and humility, right? And I think it's those two sides. Like the dark side can be a really powerful tool, and you can be super strong, but it's also extremely self-destructive and dangerous, and can end up hurting you. While the other side, the Jedi, even in real life, it can be a great path of contentment, happiness, peace,
enlightenment.
But it can also
huge enlightenment.
But it can also hinder you because if you are too worried about doing something bad, you can create rules and parameters around yourself that weaken you, just like the Jedi did. They were so scared of turning to the dark side that they didn't reach their full potential.
And then you look at some of the most powerful Jedi and Sith. These were people that drawed upon both sides.
Right.
You have Revan. Revan, when he came back to the light side, he was powerful, but he still knew about the dark. He still drew from the dark side. He became like that gray balance. Chris brought it up too, like the Bendu, you know, somebody that's in the middle. They're going to be way more powerful. The ancient Jedi, if you go back, they were super powerful because it was about balance. They never let themselves way too far to the right or to the left. They just stayed in the middle.
Yeah,
and
that's
they
why
were
I think
powerful.
ideally the gray would be the strongest, because the gray can manipulate the Force, but also they're not going too crazy where they're falling into self-destructive patterns and bending the Force where it's too dangerous or stupid or hungry.
There was a
they're
question.
Still keeping a check on themselves.
There was a question that was brought up on Reddit one time, and it had me really thinking. because they said who was really more powerful, Ray or Luke? And I'm sitting there thinking at first, I'm like, dude, Luke is way more. But I'm like, then I thought about it. Ray is a Palpatine that was trained by a Skywalker that had a good heart, but at the same time had that power of the dark side. So she
also
was
had some
a
dark
gray.
side tendencies. She was, yeah.
She was a gray. And like, dude, in all reality, if you look at the real way the Force works, she would be the most powerful that there at all of them. She would have been. Now,
If
the
you follow,
storytelling
like, the
sucked,
Disney
but you know what I'm
sequel, yeah.
saying? The ideal of it is she would be the most powerful.
But if you go into Legends, that's kind of what Luke is. Luke is almost like a gray Jedi in Legends.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of idea.
Well, I mean, and Luke, if you go back to Legends, Luke went to the dark side in Legends, and he learned all about the dark side. And then he came back to the light. So he was one of those. But look at Mace. Look how powerful Mace was. Mace drew from the dark side, and he used some of the dark side stuff. He just never allowed it to cloud his judgment and the light. And he was, look, dude, he created a whole lightsaber for him. It was based on the dark side of the Force. That you used emotion, you used anger, you used these things in battling with a lightsaber. Because he knew he couldn't, like, if he didn't, like, Jedi couldn't beat Sith in lightsaber form because they're using raw anger. The only thing that you could hope with fighting, if you was a Jedi and you was fighting the Sith, only thing you could hope for is that they made a mistake because they allowed their emotions to cloud their judgment.
Right.
If not, you know what I'm saying, you was going to die. So he thought in a way of like, okay, so how can we learn to use this without clouding our judgment? And then he made the lightsaber for him. That's what made it so good. That's what made it so captivating about Mace. That's why everybody want Mace to come back, because now Mace is going to be, you think he cut off his hand, he got shot out a window, he's going to be pissed. You know what I'm saying?
He come back, he going to be really dark sidey. He ain't going to have that Jedi philosophy in his mind. He's going to be a dark side user if we do get him back. He's going to be mean as hell.
But that's the thing. In all reality, the dark side and the light side are equal. It just depends on your philosophy and the way that you use that. Are you anybody that allows the Force to use them is gonna be wiser because the Force is omnipotent. It knows everything. It's been around forever. You know.
Also, with that, like the Jedi, you're gonna be wiser because you're allowing the Force to guide you. But with that, it also is the understanding that sometimes the Force has different wills, and I need to align myself and like allow myself to die. That's why, like Obi-Wan, I'm sure Obi-Wan was wiser than Vader, but he let himself die because he felt it was the will of the Force. You know what I mean? It's just totally different philosophical.
Well, you got to think about it.
Ideas.
They went from a point that the Sith were more cunning than them. They thought out things more than them. Now, can I help Luke more by showing up as his light side ghost whenever I want, or only when I can get to him as human form? I have to be there to talk to him. This, I can talk to him at any time I want.
And I think by allowing himself to die, that's like whether you want to like relate it to like Buddhism, where they reach, or like reaching nirvana, they become one with the Force. Like they achieve like that oneness and that sameness with the Force. And I think that's what that ghost Force thing is. That's them becoming one with the Force and truly being utilized by the Force.
But the thing is like that only started because Qui-Gon Jinn wanted that kind of life for the Jedi. The worrisome, like the worry-free, the like let's breathe and just slowly take care of the galaxy one piece at a time. We're not soldiers. We're not this or that. We're supposed to be just peacekeepers and be one with the Force. And teach enlightenment and love and laughter. And that's the thing. So the only person that really knew how to do it was Qui-Gon Jinn until Qui-Gon contacted Yoda in Clone Wars. And then Yoda taught Obi-Wan. Nobody else. Obi-Wan. You wouldn't treat... You wouldn't
all that was left.
Well, that's the thing. No, because that's not true. Because when Qui-Gon met up with Yoda kept that secret to his damn self up until everybody died, and it was like, okay, Obi-Wan, I might as well show you something. And I also think
that's why Yoda was so different in the sequels, is because he had finally become.
I think Yoda knew the whole time what was going to happen. He just knew there wasn't nothing they could do to stop it.
What you
He knew
talking
that the-
about? You just kill
I
Skywalker
think-
in his sleep and call it a good day.
But I don't think that. I think he knew that there was going to be a transition. I think Yoda knew because when he was in the Clone Wars, when he's standing underneath that tree and they're all talking to him after he comes back from the one where he fights himself and they got them glowing freaking people, them Force, whatever they were. You know, I think he had a different understanding of the Force. I think he had a different understanding. I think he had risen past. And I think that's why Qui-Gon was allowed to talk to him. And then I think the reason that Obi-Wan was able to talk to Luke, because Luke didn't know shit. He didn't know enough to wipe his ass with. And that's why he was able to come to him and talk to him. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, you're not accountable for what you don't know. And you're not gonna, he was too, it's like you go in there and somebody sets, 5 Legos in front of you, and then they say 5 more Legos in front of you, and you don't know anything about math, and they say, how many Legos is there? But you know how to count to 10. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but you never learned about math yet. And that's the way that Luke was. Luke was like, he didn't know anything yet. So it was easy he just knew about the Force. He didn't know about, all the light and dark and all this stuff. Obi-Wan never had a chance to teach him any of that stuff. He was just teaching him basic lightsaber form and a little bit about the Force. So he was like green. He didn't have nothing holding him back yet, so he couldn't talk. Like Obi-Wan, the reason Obi-Wan couldn't talk to Qui-Gon or Qui-Gon couldn't talk to Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan had all that regret and all that stuff within him. So Qui-Gon couldn't commute with him until he got himself right. And when he let go of everything and just became just knew that it was about the Force, then Qui-Gon can come and talk to him. Yoda was already there. And Yoda was one of the biggest people that got manipulated by Palpatine. He was in a room with Palpatine how many times and never realized that this dude was a Sith Lord? Because he was blinded by the Jedi code and all the different Jedi philosophies and everything and all these, damn near 800 years or 800 and some years of teachings that he forgot about the Force itself.
Right.
And then once he went to meet them glowing people and all that stuff and went through his little trial and everything, then he was able to commute with, and he was able to commute with Bane. Bane was able to come to him. No Sith has ever been able to come back as a Force ghost or anything like that until Bane. Bane was able to, but that's because Yoda was going through his trial and he allowed himself to be opened up to the Force enough to know, to open himself up and not care about all that stuff, not care about the
What
politics.
messes me up about those episodes is like, if I don't know if Garrison remembers watching them, but in that episode when Bane gives him that flashback of all the darkness that's about to ensue, with Anakin and Palpatine. And he sees Anakin and he sees Palpatine stuff. Yoda just chalks that up to a fucking Sith dream and ignores it in my eyes.
I think Yoda was allowing him to become the Jedi that he was supposed to become, not with the pot. Just like when he blows up the tree, when Yoda burns when Rey burns the tree down, and
when Luke tries to burn the tree and Yoda strikes it with lightning.
Yeah, and he's like, dude, that shit don't mean nothing. That's just some books.
Which shows like a big change, I think, in Yoda.
Yeah, Yoda changed a lot.
Because
after
Yoda's
he went on that
become
little
that one
thing,
with the Force.
Yoda changed a lot. Just like when he's teaching Luke on the thing. He's like, dude, a lot of that shit don't even make no damn sense. Because he was allowing Luke to become the Jedi that he wanted him to, the Force wanted him to become. I think Yoda really let go of all that, the teachings of the Force, and was just teaching him about good and evil.
Right.
And you have a choice, and you're gonna have to make your own choice. You're gonna have to do what you feel is right. You're gonna, because that's what's gonna make you really strong.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's interesting the reflection it has and like the lesson I guess it kind of teaches about like real life, because it kind of shows that those two sides in like people. You have a lot of people in the world that like seek power and fame and money and to satisfy their desires,
Egos.
I guess. And so and so you got like people who have like are just total jerks who are only in it for money, or like people who get addicted to drugs and alcohol because you know, you just have those two sides. Then that's kind of the dark side, the dangers of the dark side, where you can become a slave to your own desires and passions, right? But then you have
Your
the light
addiction.
side.
I feel like, I
Right.
don't think it's desire. I think it's an addiction.
Addictions, right?
An addiction to power
Right,
and
right,
to
And I
rule.
think that's what the dark side kind of represents. But then you also have the light side, and where it can be good, but then you have some people who kind of take it too far, like the Jedi did before in the prequels, where people can kind of be like just as bad, where they're like they're more worried about rules rather than how to be a good person. You know what I mean? Where people,
Well, it's
are like,
just, I mean, you can take that back to like just religion itself.
yeah, and like
Religion itself,
and
there's
people,
so
like,
many rules that you forget sometimes
and
just
they
to be a
miss
good
out.
person.
Right, and they miss out, and so like you got like some of these churches that are like, I mean, I'm not trying to attack anybody's religion, but they're more worried about rules and everybody has to follow these rules rather than, hey, what was like the meaning of the religion in the first place?
Yeah, what was the meaning?
And then you have people who are like, I think what George was trying to teach was moderation. Like, hey, it's okay to like have religion, just don't go too crazy. And it's okay to do things that you enjoy, just again, don't go too crazy and become addicted. And you know
What you talking about, dude? I like getting drunk every night. Don't you change me.
That's not what I'm saying, but it's like I think George was trying to kind of get at that, how like it's about moderation and
everything
are good, but you
It's
can't
about self-control, really.
A lot of
I think
people
it's
fail to
just
realize
self-control.
when George was writing the scripts, he was using things that he had went through in his personal life, the things that the world was going through. And you got to remember, back in the 70s, there was a lot of people addicted to heroin because they was coming back from Vietnam. They was all addicted to heroin. So I think everything he did, he tried to put a moral behind it. And he just made it exciting and made it something different so you could get taken out of that environment for a minute, but it still taught you something.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's one
It's
of the
really
things
like,
that is lacking now within Disney.
Right.
They're not teaching, even back in the day, Disney, you watch Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast and all, they all had a story and they all had morals. They had a moral compass and it was teaching you something.
and it
Like
had
Beauty and the
deeper
Beast
morals. It
taught
had
you,
deep morals
don't
that
judge a
everybody can
book
relate
by
to.
its cover.
Right.
Accept people for, for the contents of their character, not for what they look like. You know what I'm saying? And now Disney, they're just trying to be entertaining. They're not trying to put that story out there no more.
Well,
They're
I
not trying to
disagree. I think
teach
it was-
nothing no more.
Because I think good art, what Star Wars kind of used to be and what Disney kind of used to be, good art was it taught deep moral values that can apply to everybody while still being engaging and entertaining. I feel like a lot of entertainment today, they only can do one or the other. They're super obsessive with morals that aren't even deeper morals. They're just one-sided morals, if that makes sense. Or they're purely about entertainment and the morals are very cheap and superficial.
Look at it like this. Okay. You look at New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, and A New Hope. They all have daddy issues. That's something that
Right.
That's something that George himself went through and experienced in life. You have, all the other underlying meanings about being able to let go. Don't be over consumed with something. Let go of, with, Obi-Wan, he let go. He said, I can do more by not being here than I can by being here. There was a lot of meaning behind. Almost every scene had an underlying meaning in the first three movies. That's George wrote like that. The prequels, there was some of them in there wasn't as much, but George was going through something else. He was going through a divorce. He was going through a lot of different things. He was trying to build this empire, and that's kind of what he showed in the movies, building an empire. You know what I'm saying? He was how to take over everything, how to take over the movie industries. He funded all these movies. The prequels, he funded them himself. He was getting Neverland, not Neverland Ranch, that's fucking Michael Jackson, was Skywalker Ranch. He was building Skywalker Ranch. He's building his empire. ILM, he's building all these different things. He's using technology. And everybody will tell you, if you look at the prequels, the CGI is just freaking nuts how much CGI. But he was trying to build that technology. Everything was about building in the prequel trilogy. So he was showing you how to succeed. How can you succeed? Sometimes it takes a little manipulation. Sometimes it takes some hard work. Sometimes it takes following the rules. Sometimes you have to realize that the rules are not what need to be done. You have to step outside of those boundaries in order to succeed. He was showing you all of them in the prequels. Then he sold the damn thing to Disney, and Disney just did whatever. But there was always an underlying meaning behind the stories. You know what I'm saying? And even in the sequel trilogy, there's an underlying meaning in the stories. It just was not anything that was all that important. It was just a remake of what was already been done. But you got to remember that Disney is coming into this. Now, I don't give them no excuse for everything else they've been doing, but when they was making the sequel trilogy, the excuse that I give them is the simple fact of they went with what worked. You have, I mean, basically,
That's a little rough to say, isn't it?
The first one, my brain ain't working. The first one was basically A New Hope. It was just A New Hope remade, and they put a female character in it. That's it. It was basically the same movie. Coming into your own, trying to find out what you're gonna do. You come from nothing. You don't know what's going on. Confusion, and that works for younger viewers. That works. Somebody like me, I already know what's going on. I'm 40-something. Well, at that point, I was, you know what I'm saying? I'm already an adult. I got kids of my own. I already know what's going on. I'm not a kid no more. New Hope worked when you was a kid because it taught you something. You were intrigued because you wanted to learn what was going on, like what's going on with Luke. Ray, younger viewers, and if you look at the argument that most people are having about the originals, prequels, and sequels, are all because of the age. You look at people that are arguing with each other, most of the time it's about, you look at people, it's older people arguing with younger people about the thing. But they just remade what worked. That's what worked. And they just remade it, which is not stupid. It's smart. You already know it worked. It was the #1 movie in the world for 10 years. And you know it's going to work. Then they allow politics, once again, politics to come and get involved. Same thing that happened with the Jedi. They let politics get involved, and that's what ruined the movies. Because now you got, I'm not going to do it if I can't do it my way, and I'm going to do it this way, and blah, blah. And then Rian Johnson just came in and just messed the whole 7th one up, and then J.J. Abrams just tried to fix it with the last one. He just tried to fix it. He's like, what the hell can I do with this to make it work? And he said, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make something exciting and flashy and with a bunch of, CGI and a bunch of effects and not really a story. Just keep people in thing because at this point, we just want to finish the series and make Disney a lot of money so they can keep making Star Wars. And that's what he did. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
And I think part of that has to do with when George made the Star Wars movies, he had an inspiration for these movies. He had an idea and turned that idea, made it into life, brought it to life. And I think Disney, they took Star Wars, and instead of having an idea and inspiration, bringing it to life, they were, hey, we need to force something to life to make more money. I think it started from, George Lucas just having this idea and wanting to bring it to life. He had the passion for it, the drive. He had
love. The biggest thing is the love.
He had that love for it.
It was a love.
Disney, a lot of it is, hey, we need to make something to make more money. It's not coming from inspiration. It's not from, hey, we have an idea to make this. It's, hey, we need to create an idea to make this to make money. You know what I mean?
It was more, so like Disney, how I view Disney is more of a pocket fattener. How much money can I fit in my wallet before I have to move my, get a new wallet? George Lucas didn't care about the money. Yeah, he was happy. But he when you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the Clone Wars before season 7, and everything in between that he's done and has had a part in and greenlit and approved of, he has literally, it is love. It is just nothing but love for the story, love for the characters. Literally, you can see the overlining stories in his writing. In 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, Clone Wars, the video games, the books that he approved on.
Only ever approved one book. That was not even a real approval. If you read his actual article, the actual interview, he gave the okay on one book, and all he said is that's why I want an extended universe. That's all he ever
But
said.
the thing is that's love itself. It's showing the fact that you can look at other creators that want to expand your passion, what you love, your passion project that you did, because that's what it was. American Graffiti was his first film, but Star Wars was his passion project.
Yeah,
He didn't think nothing of it. He didn't care if it made money or it didn't. He just wanted to make it, and that's
well, he took a risk.
prime example. A prime example of that is Sylvester Stallone. Sly. He's a prime example of my. I can sell this script and have some jackass do this, or I can push for it. I can sell things. I can make my own budget, and I can make a good movie. And Sly did with Rocky. And look at George. George did. He made money off American Graffiti, put that money, and got actors and made this movie that we all love today. And I know he supposedly wants nothing really to do with it, but he's sitting back and thinking, "Oh, I would have done this if that was still me." I know he does.
It's crazy because
it's
watching
crazy.
that unearthed, it's crazy because watching that unearthed, I don't think that he sold Star Wars. He stole the memory of Star Wars. That's what George got rid of. He didn't sell Star Wars itself. He wasn't ever he didn't plan to ever sell Star Wars. He didn't want all the bad memories that came along with making Star Wars. Star Wars put him in a hospital twice, caused him to get a divorce, caused him to lose one of his kids. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of bad memories behind Star Wars that he had to live with for the rest of his life. And he got enough money that he don't have to worry about that shit no more. And he was like, I want to get rid of the memories. The problem is you can't create something that's like Star Wars and ever get rid of it. And I think that he really believed that if he sold it, the memories would go with it. And it just didn't happen like that. The memories is always going to be there. You can't get rid of what you've experienced in your life, no matter how good or bad it is. It's stuck with you forever. There's ways to deal with it, and I think that's what he did. I think that's the real reason that he sold Star Wars. That's just my personal opinion. I think he stole Star Wars because he didn't need the money. $4.2 billion, yeah, that's great, but he already had billions. You know what I'm saying? He didn't need the money. I think it was to get rid of the memories. You got to understand, after he divorced Marcia, he never talked to her again. They do not talk. She said on that show that she will die never being able to speak to George again. He refuses to talk to her, and I think that's how he deals with things. I think he's one of those people when things is like when something hurts him, he just shuts it out. And I think that's what he did with Star Wars. The problem is that you got Dave and John, hey man, come be on The Mandalorian, come be able to do it, and he's never gonna escape it. But I don't think he has to deal with the problems of it no more. He ain't got to deal with people. And then you know how bad that would hurt? How many people put down the prequel trilogy and just I mean, that had to hurt. That had to hurt. I'm like, dude, what the hell? I waited 20 years or 18 years, or however long it was. It took him it was 16, to make a Phantom Menace. And then everybody just bashed it. You know that had to hurt him, especially as much as he loved Star Wars. And put him in a hospital. He went through all kind of people, lost friends, lost money, lost all kind of stuff. And the fans just crushed him. But he had already signed, he already said that he was coming out with the prequel trilogy. So he finished it. And then once he was done, I think he said, I don't want nothing to do with this no more. It just hurt me too much. And he just tried to get rid of it. For you not to talk to your ex-wife for freaking 20-something, 30, 40 years, however long it's been, he don't talk to her. She said in the interview that when their kid was getting married, that he didn't even talk to her during the whole wedding. Didn't say nothing to her.
So I want to address something that Tori said. She says George was a huge nerd with a lot of money, and he was able to indulge his nerdiness. Disney isn't a rich nerd; they're just rich. Bodie's response, I don't think I agree with. He says Disney has hired the nerds who grew up watching it and loving it, though. I
I
think
agree
that's
with
inaccurate. Hold on, I don't.
Okay.
Look at Book of Boba Fett. You're fucking telling me that that's a Star Wars nerd writing a Star Wars passion project? I don't
No,
think so.
this is
Because
what I'll
when you
tell
look
you.
at Book of Boba Fett, that's not Star Wars to me. That's not the Boba
Dude,
Fett we know.
You got to understand that the same people that wrote Mulan wrote the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Right.
It was supposed to be it's
These are the
it's
same
the
writers
thing
that
is,
are
like,
writing
No,
Marvel,
I know. Wait.
that are
This
writing
is why I
Star
disagree.
Wars,
This is why
that
I
are
disagree.
writing. I'm not saying that they're not fans. I'm
I
just
just don't
saying
think
that
that
they're just writers.
yeah.
I don't think that they're truly like. Okay, you have somebody like me. Okay, put it like this. I love Marvel. Don't get me wrong. Marvel's the shit. You know what I'm saying? But I love Star Wars more. I watch all the Marvel movies. There hasn't been one Marvel movie that I've missed. I watch all the cartoons. I watch the what ifs. I watch all that because Marvel is dope. Star Wars is a passion. It's different, but I love Star Wars. I like Marvel. I'm going to say I love Marvel, but I love Star Wars way more. And when you sit back and you watch the writings of all of them, and I'm going to say all of them, Marvel, Disney's new animated series or animated, even their movies, you watch it. Dude, I don't get that passion.
Right.
The passion isn't there. They're doing a job. They don't have that passion.
Okay, hold on.
To
Bodie,
write.
yes.
And then you got to remember too, these writers, they write something, then that's edited by somebody else, then they go back and they fix whatever, then it's edited by someone else, then it goes off to this person, then they edit it because they take then by the time it gets to the director and the cast and everybody, it's completely changed from what they wrote.
Right.
Because they have to look at budget, they have to look at, there's so many things that go involved, and by the time the writer writes something and to the point of to the point of filming, it could be a totally different story. And that's what people fail to realize. And then, so say David Filoni is directing this movie or directing a TV series. These writers write it. By the time it gets to him, it's totally different. Then he makes whatever changes he wants to make. But it's already went through all the way up to the top. So it's something. And then if Kathleen calls down and say, hey, we can't do this, then he has to change it. So he has to change the story. Because something that might have been very important in that story. Then once you film it, you don't film 200 hours for a 30-minute episode. Then they cut that shit up and then they cut little parts out and to make everything flow together. That changes the story. So it goes through a giant ass process before we ever even see it. So I don't blame it on nobody. I don't blame it on the writers. I don't blame it on production. I don't blame it on none of these people. I say in a general whole, that when Disney is doing a project now, they are based on making money. They're not based on telling a story. They're based on how can we put as much special effects, because it worked with George. Look how much money George made off the prequels. 90% of the prequels are CGI, because that's what he was trying to develop.
So my biggest thing is Bodie's going off
I've been waiting.
and saying
Come on.
something. Oh, I wanted to finish what Bodie was saying real fast, but go ahead. I'll go after Bodie here in a minute.
No, I think Bodie's right, because I think they do have a lot of fans and a lot of people who genuinely care about the project working on it. I think it's about the conception and about the whole process. I think Chris makes a great point. You have corporate big brother breathing down your neck. I think from the very conception, it's not these nerds and lovers of Star Wars saying, hey, I have this idea, let's make it. It's Disney saying, you need to make this happen. So instead of working out of a love and desire for the project, it's working out of, hey, we need to create something that we have no ideas for yet. It's not being born of inspiration. It's being born from, hey, investment. It's being born from money. And through that entire process, instead of being able to use their nerdy free reign as much as they want, like you think these nerds would, it's that corporate big brother saying, no, it needs to be done this way. You need to put this in it. You need to put this in it.
But
you know
the thing is with that, though, is Dave has full reign to do as he pleases. You understand?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He still controls. First off, Kathleen Kennedy is the president of Lucasfilms. Then you have her bosses, which is the presidents and owners of Disney. So if Disney, they tell Kathleen, you can't do this, we're not doing this, then Kathleen has to tell Dave and John they can't do this. Or it needs to be redone, they don't like it. It still has to go to the top of their team before they get to make any decisions. They might say, oh, we want to do this. And if they say it's a good idea, but then they always come in. I know about script writing. I've seen this shit happen before. You have a great script and somebody says, well, we can't do this. Or you can't say this. Or you can't do this. Or we have to keep it below a PG-13 rating, so you got to take this out. And you got to take this out. And you got to do this. That was one of the things that made George so much different. That's why he funded all his own projects.
Yeah, George didn't listen to those people.
He didn't listen to that. He didn't have nobody to say that shit to him. So he did what he wanted to do. That's what made his movies so much better than the Disney movies, because there wasn't none of that going back. It wasn't nobody above him telling him what he could and could not do, other than Marsha. And other than, the editors, they'd be like, dude, that shit just doesn't work. But George also, they wouldn't, like when he was doing A New Hope, they wanted to take that full trench run scene out. And he was like, dude, that's not going to make no sense. How we blow up the Death Star? They just wanted it to blow up and then to fly off. So he told Marsha to move that scene up. He said, all right, they don't want me to do this, because he was getting money from other people. The New Hope was the only one that was structured from another company. It was through Fox. So what they did is he had her move it up in the movie. So she moved it up in the editors in the cut. She moved it up, so it had to happen. So they couldn't say we don't want that at the end of the movie, because that was supposed to be the end of the movie. Boom, blow up Death Star, done. That was supposed to be the end of the movie. So then he had to go in and film other shit after that, like the metal scene and all that other stuff. He had to go in and refilm that and do all that stuff so he could move that up in the movie, because he knew it needed to be in the movie, and it did. If it wasn't in the movie, that would have sucked. Like, dude, that whole part makes sense. It makes the Force make sense. It makes Obi-Wan being able to come back and talk to him make sense. It makes Vader flying off and being still alive make sense. And all that stuff would have made no sense if they wouldn't have put that part in there. So that's what gives him free reign, because he funded his own movie. And when they didn't, he had a good editor. Marsha was one of the best editors that there ever was. She was able to move things around and fix it to where it would work. Then, you know what I'm saying, now you got all these different Disney people. Then you got all the Lucas people, because they got to go through Kathleen Kennedy. If Disney comes to Kathleen Kennedy and say, you can't do that, she's going to have to go until shit rolls downhill. So if they say this, it goes to her, then she has to take it to Dave and John and whoever. They got to rewrite it, reshoot stuff. That stuff happens all the time when you're dealing with corporations.
Right.
That's why I don't blame it on nobody.
I agree with Bodie. I think there's a lot of passion. I just think the passion's being smothered. CJ, what were you trying to say?
No, I'm good.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just I had to get that out.
It's all good. I don't agree with Bodie. Like, I agree with you. Like, I'm not pinpointing. Like, Dave has stated that he gets to write what he wants. But I also agree with you, because you've been in the industry. That's where I was trying to get at. You were going to be in that argument of mine that, yeah, it has to go uphill. You got to go to corporate. You got to go to Kathleen. It goes back to corporate, and then it comes back down. You got to go through that process. Dave can write an amazing script. Yeah, Dave can write an amazing script. What I don't agree with Bodie about is that, yeah, there are fans on the set. The documentary thing about Book of Boba Fett, you know for a damn fact, half those guys are smiling because they're on camera. But you did not see what it was looking like off camera. You don't know if they're happy with what's going on. I know Tim is, because Tamara wants to do this. He wants to be on TV again. The last thing we fucking saw him in was Aquaman. And that's it. He hasn't had anything, so he's just happy to work. Ming-Na Wen was in Mandalorian. She's just happy to work and be a part of something that she grew up loving, like us. If we got offered right now to be in a Star Wars project of some sort, I'm sorry, us three dumb motherfuckers right here are just going to be smiling from ear to ear all the time. Why? Because we're on a Star Wars project.
If it was a bad story, I would still be in it just to be so I could be a Star Wars.
That's what I'm saying. I would.
I'm not going to lie and say I wouldn't.
That's Ming-Na Wen's attitude. Is like, I don't care how bad the story is. I'm in Star Wars. I'm my character. I have an action figure. I'm on screen. I have lines, and that's how we would approach it. But
Well, you
these
look at
these writers are not that. They might be, but I know for a fact some of these guys on set don't want to be there. They don't care really.
Well,
there's not a lot of passion.
This is the thing. When you look at the writers, like if you look these writers up, you can look them up. They've worked on other Disney projects. They've worked on other projects and wrote other things. Disney hired them to do a job. And sometimes they get, you know what I'm saying, they're writing Marvel. They might be writing 5 different films at one time. You can't tell me, I don't care how good you are, some of that stuff is going to overlap.
Yep.
All right, what do you have to... Okay, Bodie just said, to me, Kenobi proved Disney isn't limiting Star Wars. We got the most ruthless Vader we have seen. We got Mando slicing people up. We got badass females like Fennec and Cara. What's missing in Star Wars?
What's missing in Star Wars is that they're doing fan service to shut us up. Look at the camera quality.
Kenobi proved Disney is limiting Star Wars because you have majority of the show is following that one chick instead of Kenobi.
They had a book. They literally could have brought in the writer of that book, got his approval, paid him an assload of money because 10-1, you offer a guy a couple $1 million for a freaking script pretty much out of his book, he's going to be like, yeah, you're using my writing. That would have been a better story than what we got.
Would have been a way better story.
Oh, yeah. It would have been beautiful. It would have been emotional. It would have given us the Kenobi we wanted. What they gave us in this whole freaking 6-7 episode bullshit was fan service. They gave us a dope Darth Vader. They gave us a little bit.
I'll tell you why it was a fan service.
Inconsistent Darth Vader.
I'll tell you why it was fan service. Okay. Disney is, ever since the sequel trilogy, Disney has been going through this racial profiling stuff that they've been getting accused of with Finn and what's her face. So they took and they created the Kenobi series, which 90% of the series was based on Reva, and put a black character as Reva, and that was straight fan service to make the black community happy with Star Wars and to shut up everybody about them. And it didn't work, but that's what they did. And then when Reva's series comes out, because they're going to get a Reva series, I've already got it through the pipeline that they're going to do a Reva spinoff. They're going to make this character that was supposed to be this dark, evil bitch on the Kenobi series, the main character of the Kenobi series. They're going to make her into a good guy now that Vader stabbed her. That was a whole plot point of the Kenobi series, was to cause Reva to get her spinoff, and now she's going to go out and be this... She's going to go out and do whatever she does as this good person because Vader stabbed her again.
And now, hold on. Before you attack Kyle in the chat or in the comments later on, understand Kyle is married to a black woman and has mixed babies, and he is like, you need to understand that he is not attacking it because of race. That is not what it is. But Disney's doing it because of race, because they're getting attacked for a racial issue that they're not.
It wasn't even their fault, man. It was not their fault. It was the fans that put down Melissa, or what is her name, Marie Tran, whatever.
Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah, Kelly Marie Tran.
I don't think
the fans put her down, and it was because she was a bad actor. It was. I mean, they had a right thing. She was not a good actor.
Because they didn't put Ming-Na Wen down, but they put Kelly.
Finn, because they had to take him off of the poster to put the poster up in China, but that has to do with China. That didn't have anything to do with Disney. Disney's gonna make money. Oh, we gotta take this character off this poster? Shit, he's still in a movie. We still paid him a bunch of money, and they did that. And he took it like, oh, y'all are being racist, and it had nothing to do with race. It had to do with making money. And if you got a 3.6 billion people in China, like half the world's population's in China. You want them to go to the movie and spend money to buy the product. It had nothing to do with race. It had to do with money. But Finn, John Boyega, he backlashed against it, like, oh, you guys are racist and all this, and it didn't ever have nothing to do with that. People, a lot of times when people are having a misconception of what's going on, they want to throw the race card out there, or they want to do this. And then as your AR reps, your advertising reps, what do? You go in and you say, okay, we have to correct this situation, so let's do a little fan service, and this is what we'll do. When you, like the 2-hour movie where they cut out a lot of Reva scenes, when that dude redid the Kenobi 2-hour movie, and they cut out the Reva scenes, a lot of it, and it's like half and half then it seems like it's more about Kenobi. But the actual series was more based on Princess Leia and Reva than it was on their story, than it was on actual Obi-Wan Kenobi. We didn't get none of the fundamentals that we all were looking for years. Like, what was his emotions? Like, what was his true emotions? We got a couple little moments. But we didn't get him crying and breaking down and being so hurt, and we didn't get the part where he's holding Anakin's lightsaber and just bawling over this lightsaber because his friend is dead. We didn't get his struggle with not being able to become a Jedi. He never even really got put in a situation where he didn't have to, where he really had to be a Jedi like they did in the book. The book, he was put in a situation like, I have to do Jedi things. I have to save these people. And he never really got that. We never got none of the things that we really wanted to know, that his hardest things that he was dealing with as he was here for 20-something years. Or for almost 20 years, 18 years, he was here just on Tatooine, just dealing with all these issues. In the book, he never even, it ain't until the very end of the book that he talks to Qui-Gon. And they did do that fan service or they did, I'm not going to call that a fan service, but they did give us that in the movie, and they waited to the end because he had to go through all these things, but they never showed us the things that he went through. Not really. They never really gave us what we really wanted to see.
Clinton and Bodie, we liked the show. We're just picking the fact that we're not, like, I enjoyed it either way. I love it.
That's what we do.
That's the point, though. That's why we do this show. We talk about what Star Wars is doing, right, wrong, or happy, not happy. That's the whole point of our show, is that we're kind of talking about what we love in a passionate way. What we're trying to say is like, yes, we're happy we got it. But the thing is it was more focused around Reva and Leia.
Well,
we didn't get that.
Bodie brings up a good point. Sorry, CJ, continue, and then I will.
But what Bodie, I see where Bodie's getting at too. You know, all the outside politics and perceptions seem to be controlling how we view the actual show. Not necessarily, because I didn't care about the politics and what was going on, because I didn't see it until the show was over, when we talked about it on the show. The only thing that I caught right out the gate was when people were attacking the little girl who plays Leia. I remember getting in that rant. And then, what was it, the second to last episode we got in that whole thing about them attacking
Moses Ingram
about her race. I didn't look at that. I looked at the show. I'm looking at how shaky the camera is.
Right.
I'm shaky. I'm looking at, like Kyle pointed it out for me, and now it bothers me, but I still, damn you, Kyle, I still can't get past that. But I didn't like the scoring. Like, yes, the music was beautiful, but the scoring was in the wrong spots sometimes, and the camera was shaky, and a lot of the things didn't make sense. And like when Leia,
I liked the show because I liked how good Moses Ingram played that part. She was an excellent fucking bitch. She played that shit excellently. Well, I like the show for that. Right. I don't like the show for the fact that it wasn't about Obi-Wan. I didn't care about Reva. I didn't want to know about Reva. I wanted to see all the hardships and all the inner struggles that Obi-Wan was going through. I really wanted to see that, and they didn't give us that. Right. That's what I didn't like about the show. I still like the show. I still watch it. I just watched it again. Like, I watched the whole thing. Yeah. I've watched it like 3 times now. It's not that I don't like the show. I just think that they should have focused more on Obi-Wan Kenobi, because that's what the show was supposed to be about. You could have done that little side piece. The side piece about Reva should have been the side piece. It shouldn't have been the main directive of the show. It was Obi-Wan was the side, and Reva was the main directive. Right. And I didn't like that.
Here's where I fall on it. When people didn't like Reva because she took the entire spotlight of the show, they used the race as a shield, I felt like. Where they said, oh, you don't like her because she's black. No, that had nothing to do with it.
No.
I just didn't like the character in the show.
She's taking
I was
the
expecting
spotlight.
Obi-Wan. Now, when Bodhi says without Rev a side plot, what else would the show be about? More fights between Obi-Wan and Vader?
No, more about Obi-Wan's struggle.
Yeah. Well, here's where I feel. Either A, do how the book did, where it really follows Obi-Wan, or B, if you don't like following Obi-Wan, then just don't make the show.
Well,
if you don't have something to write about, don't make the show.
they wanted to put Vader in the show. Vader's not in the book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They wanted to put Vader in the show because that's what fans wanted. Once again, they did a fan service. They wanted fans because originally, when it was originally written, Maul was supposed to be in there.
Yep.
And then they took Maul out and put Vader in because fan service, they knew that Vader would do way better than Maul.
Oh, yeah.
So they created a whole new story that didn't make no sense because Vader and Obi-Wan didn't fight till New Hope. Vader didn't even know that Obi-Wan was still alive until New Hope. So that's where when they start mixing the plots and start changing the storyline, changing canon all around just to do it for fan services, that's what I have a problem with. I didn't have a problem with the show. I like Reva. Shit, I thought they should have just called it the Reva show. I'd have been happy with that and just had Reva going through the shit and just had Obi-Wan in there like they did. I would have been happy with that. But don't tell me the show's about to be about Obi-Wan, and I'm thinking Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm going to see his struggle. I'm going to see Ewan McGregor really play those parts, and it's going to be exciting. And, now y'all going to bring Vader in, so Vader's going to meet at the end, which I don't understand how they're going to do that, but that's exciting. I want to see that. They got the Inquisitors in there. I want to see the Inquisitors, but don't make the whole show about a character
One
that's...
singular Inquisitor.
They just made it... They didn't give us what we really wanted. And that's something for somebody that I've been waiting for this for years. I've been waiting to really see what Obi-Wan Kenobi was doing for years. Then when the book came out, I kind of got that answered. And then they came out with a series. I'm like, now I'm going to get to see it in live action. And then they didn't give us that.
It.
Not that the series, like the Book of Boba Fett, like action-wise, like watching the action and all the CGI and everything, it was cool. It's good. But there was no story there. Boba Fett is not the guy that comes and saves the town. I've said this 1,000 times. He's not that guy. He's not that guy until he finds out about his daughter and all this stuff, and he becomes the Mandalore, and then he has to go save Mandalorian. He has to do all that stuff. That's when that stuff happens. He's not at that point in his life. He just called out the sand pit or the Sarlacc pit yesterday, and he's already saving towns, and it just didn't. It didn't make sense to who his character is. Now you could have built off, you could have started off with him getting out and going, getting some bounties and killing people and, doing whatever, and then led up to that, season 2 or season 3, and I would have been perfectly okay with that. But they just jumped right into that point. And it was like, wait a minute, this isn't Boba Fett.
Bodhi.
Boba Fett don't do this. Boba Fett is not a cooker. He's not cooking. He's not baking cookies.
Oh, Bodhi.
He's killing people. That's what he does.
Bodhi's killing me right now. Personally, I never felt like Reva was the main character. Did we really need more of Obi-Wan's emotion? More saber fights? Yes! Obi-Wan. It's about Obi-Wan's struggle about not being a Jedi. The Inquisitor in the fucking trailer says that Jedi seek out to be good. It is an itch. It is a desire. They can't help themselves. Yes, it is supposed to be about that. It is supposed to be him sitting in self-wallow in pity and wondering what the fuck just happened the last 10 years. His whole freaking life, he literally just watched die in front of him. His best friend, he had to kill. All his companions and friends died except for one. Yes, I would fucking love to see him have that inner conflict and conversation with himself and wonder what the hell is going on. Yes, he cried 3 of yes, because we got a little bit of that emotion. That's not a pain.
You have to listen to the book. Like go get an Audible subscription, listen to the book, and then come back and have this argument.
I am not done with this rant because
the book is so we didn't get even a pinch of what Obi-Wan, there's more scenes with Reva in the actual series than there is with Obi-Wan in it.
But when you sit there,
his emotions at all.
No, but when you sit there and you hear the book, it gives you that understanding of what's going on with him. Why he takes the blame for the fall of the Jedi Order. He's taking that blame in the book. Not that it was Anakin and Palpatine. He feels like it's his damn fault because he couldn't get Anakin under control. And that he had to strike down his best friend because of
son. He says it in the book. He was like, I had to kill my son.
That's the thing. I watched my master die. I watched the love of my life die. And then I had to kill my own friend, my son, my brother in battle. that was more emotional when I heard that in Audible
point-
than watching him kind of tear up in the cave.
The point of Obi-Wan was supposed to show how the point of the whole series was his real going through the whole trials and everything to be able to talk to Qui-Gon. And we didn't really see that. We see at the end him and Vader fight. He realizes that Vader killed Anakin and it wasn't really him, and then he could talk to Qui-Gon. We got a snippet. He went through so much more he had to conquer so much more of his inter dialogue to get to that point, and they didn't provide that. Like anybody that was like a new Star Wars fan came in and watched Obi-Wan Kenobi, they're not going to understand what is happening. Or they're going to be like, okay, that's it. And you take somebody that's older like me that's been waiting for this for years. The just years of turmoil.
Regret.
And that's what he was never they didn't show none of that. They didn't show off his inner struggle. They didn't really show that. They didn't give us that. They gave us those little snip bits and pieces, and they didn't go into no depth with that. And that's what somebody like me wanted to see. I wanted to see what made him, because he was Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jedi Master, coming out of Revenge of the Sith.
General of the 312th.
When you get into New Hope, he's Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is the shit. And I wanted to see the transition that he went through to get to that point. To make him know that, I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to let Vader kill me because I can do better going to Luke whenever I want and talking to him and teaching him through my Force goals. What got him there? The book explains that. The TV series did not. And if it was up to me and I was the writer and director of this, what I would have done is I would have wrote it close to the book, or at least in that general vicinity of the book, and then I could have let it out for 3 seasons and told that entire story. Now we're at a point that we might not even get an Obi-Wan Kenobi 2. Just like the Book of Boba Fett, we might not get a second season of the Book of Boba Fett. Because from what I've been told is that they're not even talking about doing neither one of those series. And that's sad to me because I wanted to see more. I wanted to, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the first 2 seasons, I still wanted to see more. And because of the way it went, we might not get that.
I wanted to see better.
Yeah, I wanted to see it get better, and I figured it could, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I
just,
had hoped that it could be better. That's why when Bodhi said at the very beginning of this whole side
argument.
road, at the very beginning of it, he's like, I think there's still passion in Star Wars. I think there's still nerds, which I agree. I think there's still hope. I think there are people in the Star Wars and in the Disney company that genuinely care. I just feel like it's being smothered at the moment. So
well, and
by
you gotta
denying that there's no
understand.
passion left, I think there's no hope.
We will-
still think there's hope.
I'll tell you right now, and I will tell everybody this: if Andor comes out and it is excellent, which I have a feeling it is going to be, we will really know the true fact when it comes to a Disney design project that they put passion and they put everything into that. And when it comes to fan wants like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Boba Fett that they don't care about.
Well,
They just
the
put it
thing
out to
is,
service the fans.
If you look at how this show came to be, the Rogue One, one of the Rogue One writers / producers, he was done. He didn't want to make any more, and they were going to do Andor without him. They sent him the script. He read it and he goes, "No, if you're going to do Rogue One, this is terrible." And he wrote in his own idea for the story, and that's the story we're getting. So instead of being like, "Hey, let's make an Andor," it was no. He had this idea for Andor, didn't like Disney's original idea because Disney's original idea was probably hey, we need to make an idea. And he probably had some kind of inspiration and sent it back to Disney. And that's what we're going with. That's why I like it. Instead of being born out of, hey, let's make money, it was being born out of, no, here's my idea. Here's how I see Andor. Here's my vision, I guess. There was vision before there was money in this version of Andor, according to the story that we're getting. So that's why I'm excited for it. Does that make sense?
Well,
Yeah,
we
no,
just
that
know
makes sense.
we look at Mandalorian. Mandalorian, like I do, Mandalorian is one of my favorite Star Wars content that there's. Period. First and second season is fucking awesome. But then you go to like Kenobi, wasn't that good? You go to Book of Boba Fett, wasn't that good? And you look at that and you can see. That's why I said if Andor comes out and it's excellent, then we know what Disney is doing. That's just proof what Disney is doing. These were fan service shows that they just put out that were based on characters that the fans love. It was a fan service, and they just created something quickly and threw it together because they would make money off of it, and they didn't care about story or direction or any of that. And if Andor comes out and it's excellent, you got 2 and 2. That's basically a 50 for 50 fucking. It's 50-50 that they're either trying to kill off the old characters and make their characters great, or that they were actually trying to do something good. And me personally, I believe in this is just my opinion, that they're creating characters because they're trying to make Star Wars their franchise and get rid of all the old Star Wars stuff and get rid of that. There's a reason that they said this is the end of the Skywalker saga.
Right. Bodhi might be right. Andor might suck. But I guess we'll just see. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest, I doubt that.
I
really
don't
do.
I don't see
I'm
it
not
happening.
saying it's going to be good. I'm saying it's bad. I have no idea.
Because, like, how can you make
from
the
evidence I've
Mandalorian?
seen, it sounds better to me.
But like how can you make the Mandalorian so amazing and bring us Boba Fett, and Boba Fett's such a badass in the Mandalorian, and then make Book of Boba Fett, and it, like, don't get me wrong, anything with Boba Fett, it'll make me happy. But at the same time, it wasn't. Like, I agree with Kyle. That's not the fucking Boba Fett that we all want right now. That's not the Boba Fett we needed.
I wanted no evaporations, Boba Fett. That's what I wanted.
Well, that's the thing. When Boba Fett came out of the pit,
just...
he was angry and he was full of piss and vinegar when he was out of the pit. He wanted revenge. Like you said, and even in the books, he comes in and he's full of piss and vinegar later on when he finds out about his daughter and he gets the Mask of Mandalore and he goes to Mandalore to rule Mandalore. That's where we get that loving, caring.
Well, it changed, but he had to go through a lot of shit to get to that change.
But we
didn't just meet some sand people and automatically change overnight like they did on the show. It's just they rushed it. Not that it was a bad story; they just rushed it. A lot of this stuff is just being rushed. They're trying to put too much content in such a small area. Hey, I heard that guy that did Kenobi is doing the Book of Boba Fett. He's breaking that down into a 2-hour show and then remixing it and doing all the audio and stuff. So that might be cool.
That might fix my problem with it. So maybe not. Who knows?
Because I'm telling you, the 2-hour movie of Kenobi is the shit. That's probably one of my favorite Star Wars. That shit is dope when they cut it down and got rid of all that fluff and actually made it where it was about Kenobi. It's a lot better. When you see him going through like the crying scenes and the hard scenes, but they're like back to back, it makes sense. But when they're spread out over six of the series, it's like, dude, what are you guys doing? Like, this don't even make sense. It's way better. It still don't make sense in the long run because we know that Vader didn't know that Obi-Wan was dead. You know, I mean, that Obi-Wan was still alive in New Hope. And Leia didn't know who Obi-Wan was. They cut that part out. I mean, he didn't cut that part out. He just made it where it made a little bit more sense.
But like I said, we're not going to get what we want because I agree with Kyle. I think Disney's going to toss out what we know, what we've seen, what we've loved, and put in what they think we'll fall in love with.
Everything that they have done that has to do, like the Bad Batch.
I love the
spectacular.
Bad Batch. Sorry.
Bad Batch spectacular. That's a Disney project. Everybody got to remember that Clone Wars season 7, when they introduced the Bad Batch, was a Disney project. That was not George Lucas project. It wasn't a Dave Filoni project. It was a Disney project. Disney was in control of that. They introduced the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch series comes out. It's excellent.
Right,
then
that's
you
what
get.
I'm saying there's like I think they're still passionate in Disney. I don't think
Yeah.
hope is lost.
But it's
Well, you
passion
can
for
tell
their
that
own
there's still
product.
passion in Disney, and I'm not saying that there's not nerd people writing this stuff, but I think you got to understand if the CEO of Disney gets this script and he's looking at this script and Obi-Wan is just spectacular, and they don't want Obi-Wan to be spectacular. They don't care about Obi-Wan. What are they going to do? They're going to call it down. They're going to call Kathleen Kennedy out. No, we don't like this. Write something different. Do something different. Then Kathleen got to tell Dave, and Dave got to tell so-and-so, and it goes downhill. And by the time it gets to the directors and everybody, it's a totally different story. Then it's not going to be the same thing. And that's just what happens, and that's what sucks. That's what George never wanted to happen. That's why he filmed all of his own stuff. That's why he's the one that pushed his own narrative, so he could make the stuff that he wanted to make because he was passionate about it. And you can see the passion in the work. You just don't see that passion in Star Wars, and at least in Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett. Now, I don't put Visions involved in that because Visions was just completely created by there were some people that didn't even like Star Wars.
We see
They
the
just
possible
made-
passion in Mandalorian, though.
Yeah, we see
that
passion in
love
Mandalorian.
in that.
And I think we're going to see it in Andor. I wasn't a big. Didn't have no. I didn't even care about Andor when they first because I'm not the biggest Rogue One fan. Like Rogue One comes on, I'll watch it. I'm not the biggest fan of Rogue One. I think the best scene of Rogue One is at the very end. Other than that,
Rogue One.
I'm not the super biggest fan of Rogue One. It just like I like Jedis, I like Sith. I want to see Sith and Jedi fighting and shit like that. That's what I want to see. But the more and more that I see the stuff that go on, the more and more that I see how much passion Tony Gilroy and some of the other people that's talked about in production that have talked about this project, it just seems like it's going to be better than what I initially thought. Because you can go back and listen to other episodes, and Garrison and CJ will tell you. I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, no,
I'm not
it started when
super
we found
excited
out.
about-
When we
I'm
found
not
out
super-
about it, you weren't enthused at
I
all.
was like,
You're like, great,
I'll watch
a show
it,
I
but-
don't want.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's just like Lando Calrissian. Lando Calrissian is one of my favorite characters, but I don't want to see a whole series about him. Like, I think that he did a good job in what he was in. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that he should have his own series. Like, and he's one of my favorite characters. I love Billy Dee Williams. I think he played Lando great. Played like an old school pimp. You know, I think it was great. I think he was OG Mac. You know what I'm saying? I think that, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't think that they should make a whole series about him. Like, why are you making a series about Lando Calrissian? Like,
Well,
but
I mean, if it plays into like the Rise of Skywalker, or he meets that girl at the end, if it's like kind of like a 6-episode thing where they find out that that's her dad, kind of shit,
Yeah,
I'd be
that would
okay
be
with
cool,
that.
but-
That's a good way to tie in the sequels and give us that answer, because it was kind of an open door they left open in a possibility world. But it's whatever.
But it's just one of those things. Like, that's the wonderful thing about Star Wars. There's some things that I like, and there's some things that I don't like. But there's enough that I can like and dislike stuff. I don't have to like everything. I was not a huge fan of Visions. I don't know why they did that, but you know, I liked a couple of the episodes. That's just a good thing about Star Wars. They're gonna come out with stuff that people don't like, and they're gonna come out with stuff that people love. I love the Mandalorian. Shit, I got so much Mandalorian crap. I got Baby Yoda shirts out the ass. I got Baby Yoda downstairs on the coffee table. I got Baby Yoda shit everywhere. Grogu, whatever you want to call him. I call him Baby Yoda. That's why
There's Baby Yoda shit all over my apartment. Like,
I love the story. I loved everything about it. I love that they brought Luke in, like at the end, and the way he came in. It was just everything about the man. And there was some episodes in the Mandalorian that I didn't care for. That were just fluff episodes. They just needed to do something, and I didn't really care about that. I love that they had Bill Maher. Is it Bill Maher? What's his name? What's his face? The comedian that was in Mandalorian.
Oh, Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, yeah, that's it. I like Bill Burr. Bill Burr was in there. I like the character that he played. I like that they had Boba Fett in there, and Boba Fett
loved
was
him as
badass
Mayfield.
in there. I like the fact that they had that they brought new characters in. I don't know. I just love the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian felt like Star Wars to me, and there wasn't no Jedi in there. Not really. You had the Force in there though, so I like that. But they brought Ahsoka in and they brought Luke in, but there wasn't like freaking.
But that was season 2, not even season 1.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it just
the best
wasn't.
part. You gave us
You
a
had
whole,
the little bitty force stuff that Baby Yoda did, and I mean, I don't know.
but you gave us a whole first season with like minimalistic force things. Like you had Yoda using Baby Yoda using some things, but 90% of it was gunslinging.
It was like a
ass
western.
kicking.
It
Yeah,
was a Star
it was a
Wars
western.
It was awesome. Like, dude, whoever thought this idea up was freaking great, man. This is like.
But that's the thing. That's what we got in this season. And then we didn't get, like, we got Ahsoka, I think, like, what was it, episode 5? And that was one episode for, like, a 20-minute span, or, like, a 10-minute span. And then,
I don't know. And Ahsoka's my favorite character. I have a feeling that they're going to, well, I don't know, because there's a lot of good things coming out about Ahsoka in the news and a lot of bad things, which we should probably get to the news. We've been on here for an hour and 45 minutes. See, Bodie, you got us over here arguing.
yeah, you got us coming
No,
at
it's
you
good, it's good.
sideways, man.
That's good, Bodie. Yeah, definitely put in your point of view, man. We like that. Gives us something to think about. Because I think about
that's
shit
the thing,
too.
and I like getting
It
into
gave
these
us a
rants.
lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
and then
we were
plus,
supposed to be
I
talking
don't
about the
mind,
Force, but
like, honestly, and y'all know this, I went back because of what people said, and I went back and I watched Book of Boba Fett several times, and there's things that I like the action. I like all the stuff that's going on in the Book of Boba Fett. It just didn't have no story. It didn't change the story fact, but it wasn't a bad series because it had the fan service of the action. All the action was dope. They had some dope action in that, and especially at the end where Fennec Shand just kills everybody. I think that's dope. It's dope.
She's become in Merc and everything.
And I have a different aspect, but I would have never went back and watched it again if people wanted to say stuff. Like I said, I went back and I watched Obi-Wan Kenobi, especially because I watched the 2-hour thing, and that's just so dope compared to the whole season. But I went back and I watched it several times, and there's things that I like about it, but I still think it was based on Reva. It was Reva's story, and I understand because Reva's Star Wars character, is Disney's character, and that's why she's getting a spinoff. She's getting a spinoff from that. Now the question is Moses Ingram going to play the part? That's the question. That's just the way it is. All right, let's get to some news and rumors.
Bodie, you attacking how he said that because he had a little bit of a slur trying to say Obi-Wan? Fuck off.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hey, that's a porn star right there. Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're gonna find some porn stars and make that. That's gonna be a new movie. It's gonna be what is that?
That's how we're gonna fund the show right now.
Yeah, we're gonna make a porn called Obi-Wan Kenobi. All right. Oh wait, no, I got a what if. Wait a minute, I got a what if. We gotta do the what if.
It only takes one decision to decide the direction of the galaxy. A decision that will influence the outcome. But if that decision went the other way, reality as we know it would change forever. The galaxy would be on a different course. Things that have happened would cease to exist. A new narrative would be etched into creation. So we are going to analyze those other possibilities when we ask, what if?
Okay. So I know I went back to unearth the Star Wars series, but at one point, everybody, including Steven Spielberg and everybody, was telling George Lucas to take the Force out of Star Wars. So what if there was no Force in Star Wars? How do you think things would have been different?
I think it would just be another sci-fi movie.
I don't think it would have gained the popularity that it did. Because the Force made us wonder what like when Obi-Wan talked about it, like we didn't really see it at all until Empire when he pulls the lightsaber out of the ground. We didn't see him use the Force really. Obi-Wan or Luke. So like it made us wonder, what the hell is the Force? Is there going to be more? Like that sounds awesome, and it got us all curious. So I think without the Force, it wouldn't have been. It'd have been something that was a one-off maybe, and didn't gain the popularity that it did.
I think Vader would have killed Palpatine real quickly because there ain't no way that Palpatine could have fought off Vader with no Force. You know what I mean? I think Vader would have just murked Palpatine like instantly. He'd have just took over as the Emperor like right off the bat. Like dude, cyborg against an old man. It would have just been a cyborg versus old man. Yeah, I don't think they could have done it.
Yeah, I think the Force adds a lot of layer and depth and meaning to it, and without that, it just becomes kind of a like just another movie, and I don't think it would have gained as much popularity.
Yeah,
Even
well,
CJ.
it's already being Chris. I'm pretty sure it's already being green lighted because there's a actual there's a paper that was released. I read it on Reddit, but somebody else told me about it before I read it on Reddit. But basically, it's a show of contract that Moses Ingram was already in contract to do a spinoff, but she's trying now to refuse that contract because she doesn't want to be in Star Wars anymore. So we'll just have to see how it plays out, which is kind of suck because if she doesn't want to do it and they force her to do it, she's going to come in and do a bad job and it's not going to be good. So it just depends on what happens. Hopefully it doesn't go there.
All right. Well, I guess news and rumors then.
Yeah. I made a quick what if because I knew there wasn't really a big answer to what. Well, I didn't think it was going to go this long, but I knew there wasn't going to be a big answer. The Star Wars would suck if there wasn't no Force in Star Wars.
Oh, it was good. It was a good quick what if because it was a long episode. So
Yeah.
The ultimate news and rumors.
okay, I got a funny one, just real quick. This is the only one I have. So Ryan Johnson recently was in an interview about, well, among other things, The Last Jedi. And he was asked about like the negative reception of Last Jedi and how a lot of people didn't like it and what his thoughts about that were. And he goes, in terms of the bad stuff, I'll tell you what's interesting. That's been one of the really healthy things for me about the last couple of years is getting exposed to it. The thing is, though, I am really, really thankful. So he's actually thankful for all the criticism he got.
Why the hell would he be?
Ryan Johnson?
Kind of.
You know what, Ryan Johnson? You're welcome.
Yeah, you're
You're welcome for hating you and hating everything that you've done and for fucking up a trilogy that we really were hoping that was going to end on a positive. Thank you. You're welcome for us
fair,
calling
though,
you a
you
worthless
guys
piece
hated
of shit all the time.
Yeah, you guys hated him a lot more than I did because I still don't think, like, there were parts of that movie that I really liked, but then there were other parts that completely ruined it. So I don't know.
I didn't mind the movie itself. I just didn't like honestly, The Last Jedi was not a bad movie. It really wasn't. I just liked the way that I don't like the way. Yeah, just the Luke thing. That's what turned. It ruined the whole movie for me. It ruined the whole movie for me. Like, really, Luke just died because he force projected? Shut up. Y'all are stupid. Y'all don't know anything about Star Wars. That's how I feel.
Besides Luke, I thought it was a good movie.
I thought it was decent.
What do you got?
I have a couple things. You can now buy the statue, the Yoda fountain statue that's in Skywalker Ranch in miniature form. It's kind of it's not very big. It's like a desk thing, or like you put in the middle of your coffee table, and it doesn't have like a water feature to it. It's not really worth the money that they're asking for, but it's really cool looking. I'll give them that. But it's not even the exact same statue. It's just a makeshift, like, oh, this is what the idea was, the draw up of it was. And then if you look
You're
at
talking about the statue that they have out in front of like ILM and stuff where he's holding the
that's the statue that you can get. But if you look on the back of that statue,
yeah, it's the one. Ain't that in front of ILM or
no? That's in the middle of Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah, Skywalker Ranch. I think ILM has one too. What? Hey, I was listening to I think it was Rebel Force Radio. Was it Rebel? I can't remember which one, but they said that they seen the statue, and the statue just looks like somebody needs to clean it. Like it was just like super dirty, you know. And it was like ILM or what used to be ILM.
And then you can go and buy 2 new droids at Droid Depot at Disneyland or Disney World. One's inspired for a Halloween theme. It's kind of a little nod to Exegol and Palpatine. And then the other one's
Clint.
that little...
Clint said he's out.
Whatever. Later.
That was fucked up. I said bye, Clint.
Whatever. And then the little red droid for the little red droid from Andor, and that's really all I've got. There hasn't been a lot of Hasbro news. I think they're waiting for more confirmation of projects to drop more like exclusive figures because they're running out quick.
Okay, and I don't know what the hell's wrong with the fans, because it says on what I got here, it says fans keep comparing Denzel Washington and John Boyega. I can't talk Boyega. The Star Wars actor has responded. he's flattered. He's flattered. I don't know what the hell any fan is thinking of, because John Boyega and Denzel Washington ain't even in the same caliber of acting skills.
I would pick Denzel over John Boyega. You can't compare them.
I don't hate John Boyega, but like, bro, that's like a
you
legend.
ain't no Denzel.
Like, give him like 20 years more movies. Maybe he might get to that level, but geez.
So he says, I'm not involved in the conversation, man. If that's what they see, then that's all a blessing. Denzel is one of the best actors in the industry, and I just started out. So for me, I ain't got time or the stripes to even be able to involve myself in such a conversation. I will definitely thank God for such an opportunity. Yeah, you might want to, because there's no way in hell that you're even close to Denzel Washington. You got a long way to go before you get to Denzel Washington.
That's a big stretch. That's like,
and then I had one other one. Let me see. Where's that?
Let's compare a bench player on the NBA to Michael Jordan is what that is.
Yeah. So, the creator of Ahsoka said that Ahsoka is everything that he could. It said everything I could hope for. That's what they said, and they said there was also an article that Dave went in and seen a screen of Ahsoka and the first episode of Ahsoka, and they said he left in tears. They did such a good job on.
Oh shit, that's gonna be good then.
On making, because that's his character.
That's his
Dave
baby.
That's Dave's character.
But they had the same kind of hype for Boba Fett too.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. For Dave to be coming out in tears and telling Rosario Dawson how good a job she did as being his character. I don't know, man. Like, it could be fan hype. It really could, but I'm really hopeful. If they don't kill off everybody and just make everybody bad, if they can at least make Ahsoka good, I might have a different aspect of Disney if they do that. I'm hoping, because Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters. And then there was something else. Shut up, phone. What? Damn. I'm getting hit up on TikTok here.
Sliding in the DMs.
And that's all I had. I thought I had one other thing, but let me click on. Hold up. Let me click on. There was something else. Nope, I lost it. I don't know where it's at. So that's it. That's all I had.
All right. So
let's go to the impossible quiz. Impossible.
Stop right there, you rebel scum. Prepare yourself for the Star Wars Impossible quiz.
Fuck no.
Blast 'em.
I don't know.
You want to press the button?
Oh my god! Harrison, that's twice now.
Hey, I'm not.
You got
sorry.
one more to go to cut him off.
I'm not sorry.
No. It wasn't about cutting. It wasn't about cutting off. I don't know why I was playing, and it was like, prepare for the possible quiz. Fuck no. I was trying to get it at that time. I know I missed on that. Okay. So these questions, I don't know. I was trying to do forced questions, but it's just, as I was going through, and I'm like, dude, these questions suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, there's like so many different force things that the Sith and Jedi can do, and some of them can do it, and then other ones can't do it. And then I was like, dude, this is just, nobody's ever going to get all these stupid answers right. So I came up with some more. So I got a little bit of everything. Okay. And I'm probably gonna mess up on the pronunciation of some of this crap because I don't be remembering what these people's names is. I got MS brain. What is the name of the Panuin or Pine, however you say it, that told Obi-Wan that Grievous and the droid army was in Power
The
City?
Powin
Powin,
is
whatever.
Powin.
Is it Powin? It's P-A-U.
Yes, it is.
Apostrophe A-N.
It is a
Okay,
Powin.
whatever. In Power City or however you say it.
Pow City. Yes.
What was his name? So the dude that walks up to Obi-Wan when Obi-Wan lands,
Oh, the
walks
guy
up
that
to
says,
Obi-Wan.
thousands of battle droids.
Yeah.
That guy.
What was his name?
Dracula, because he had some Dracula ass teeth. Fuck, I don't know. I just know the name of his species is Powin.
Yeah, I said that in the question. We know that, but what was his name?
Hans Gruber. I don't know. Shit.
I'm
Garrison.
literally looking at him in my mind, and I can't think of his name.
I don't think they ever said his name.
Nope.
Okay,
No.
All right. Anybody in the chat?
Tony.
Tony. Close.
Tony.
What?
Chewbacca.
I just looked at the cereal box with Tony the Tiger on it and just said Tony. You're shitting me.
It's close. All right. It's Tyon Mendon.
I was pretty
Ion
close though.
Windon.
Yes,
That sounds like
Sounds
like a cleaner.
Medon.
Yeah, it does. It
He
sounds
would
like a
have any
window
stayed
cleaner.
with Tyon.
Okay. In the Phantom Menace power race scene, Anakin and the other power racers fly over a giant wall and immediately plummet downwards until their repulsors kick in and level them out. What is the name of that wall?
What the fuck?
I know it's Beggar's Canyon, but I don't know the name of that wall.
The Grand Canyon. I don't fucking know. What the Mount Rushmore.
He said Mount Rushmore. George Washington's face. What's left of Lincoln's head after he got shot in it?
Hey, dude.
JFK's Lincoln. I don't.
That's
It's
so
called
hard.
Meta Dropo.
Dropo.
Yep.
That's so original.
And that's what and actually so Bulba says that in the movie. He tells Anakin that he's gonna get him before Meta Dropo.
What the
Okay. Here's y'all might be able to get this one. This one's a little bit easier.
You say that every time.
What ship's computer was modified with 3 droid brains that would argue with itself, causing a lot of problems for the captain and crew?
Millennium Falcon.
Yep, that's it. And you just guessed. You didn't know.
Yeah, you
What
were
are you
dead.
talking about? You literally watched Solo.
Yeah.
It was one ship, though. It was one brain. It was L3.
No, it was modified with 3 different brains. So it had the brain in it when it was created, the brain with L3, and then another brain that Han put in it. So it had 3 different brains in the computer. Okay. What was the name of the Mon Calamari ballet that Palpatine tells Anakin about Darth Plagueis the Wise? What was the name of that ballet that they were watching?
Ooh.
You know what? I think it's called the city, the music of the Sound of Music. There we go. Sound of Music. There we go.
Sound of Music. Nope, it wasn't the Sound of Music.
Swan Lake.
Chris got it too. He said the Millennium Falcon. I don't know who said it first.
Garrison said it first.
Swan Lake.
It wasn't Swan Lake. It's close, but it's not Swan Lake.
Carp Lake.
Carp Lake.
It's some kind of lake. How much you want to bet?
It is some type of lake.
Oh my god!
Hold on, Mon Calamari.
Chris got it.
Lake.
Chris got it. Bubbles,
Octopus Lake.
bubbles, because that's what it looked like. Some freaking bubbles, but that's not it.
I got it. Squid Lake.
Yep, it is. It's Squid.
Hey, you know what?
What?
You know what, babe? That's not even funny. That's not even funny.
That's hilarious.
So, it's the show that sends CJ to the hospital. I'm allergic to squid.
Oh, yeah. You might not want to go to watch
That's
Squid
so
Lake then.
funny.
It is called Squid Lake.
Squid Lake, like Swan Lake, but because they're
I'm allergic to
calamari? Bro, that's
squid. Like,
hilarious.
deathly allergic.
That naming was perfect.
Okay. Who was given the standing order from Palpatine that no matter what he is doing, he can always be interrupted for a meeting with Anakin Skywalker? And he actually says this to her in the movie. You see it in the movie. You actually don't hear it. He kind of like whispers to her, but it is a girl. I just gave y'all
Mon Mothma.
I don't understand.
Mon
Like,
Mothma.
Can you redo the question?
Who was given a standing order from Palpatine that no matter what he was doing, it could be interrupted for a meeting with Anakin Skywalker?
Oh, okay. So this is like, gotcha.
It's a person.
Cher.
Cher.
Reba.
If Cher cut off all her hair, it could be Cher. Especially when she was on cocaine a lot because her skin used to be off color.
It's got to be one of those like politician friends.
All right, y'all ready?
Because this is like,
her name is Sly Moore. It was his Umbarian staff aide, the blue chick.
told you it was one of his politician buddies.
Actually, it was his aide, but it was one of the. She
Same
was the
thing,
bald head.
like-
She was a bald head blue chick. They had that big thing that went up around her head.
He was his press secretary. You know?
Yeah. Okay. What was Mon Mothma's daughter's name, and when was she born?
Daughter Mothma.
Daughter Mothma.
Because it kind of sounds like Mom Mothma. Yeah.
God, you're dumb. That was so corny. That's such a dad joke.
Swan Lake, Squid Lake, it's the same fucking thing. Mothma.
I'm gonna go 15 ABY and Amanda Mothma.
No.
Leia Mothma.
Leia
No.
Mothma.
Padme Mothma.
Padme Mothma. Nope, her name was Lydia Mothma.
Lydia?
Yep, Lydia. And she was born during the early years of the Rebel Alliance. Like, do y'all ever remember any time in any of the shows that she was pregnant?
No.
Like, never.
Stacy in 1969.
Yeah, I was reading this and I was like, dude, what the hell are they talking about? I didn't even know Mom Mothma had a kid.
I didn't even know she was
remember
into
seeing
dudes.
her pregnant. Like, who was her dad? Dooku or somebody? You know what I'm saying? General Grievous was Pops. Okay. Number 7. What was the name of the Cyclops that George put in the remake of The New Hope when Luke and Obi-Wan met Han for the first time in the Mos Eisley Cantina? Remember that Cyclops dude with had the beard and he had the big Cyclops and the fans over there? What was his name?
Polyphemus.
Polyphemus.
That was the name of the
Prometheus.
Cyclops in Polyphemus. Is that the name? It's the name of the Cyclops in the
Prometheus?
And the Greek gods.
Polyphemus. Polyphemus.
Nope, that's not it.
Alfred.
That's the Cyclops.
I'll give
in
you
the
a hint.
Odyssey.
I'll give you a hint. He only has one name.
Alfred.
Alfred, no.
Only has one name. What the fuck?
Yeah, like,
most people only have one name, bro.
No, but like, you know what I'm saying? He only has like, you know how your name is Garrison Turcotte? His name is just,
okay.
he just has one name. He don't have no
I was
last
like, what the
name, middle
fuck?
name,
Yeah,
none of
I'm
that shit.
also, my name is Garrison Turcotte, but I'm also like Jaquaquix Magello.
What'd you take your
Blinky.
wife's last name? You hyphened your wife's last name?
No.
Oh, I'm joking.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Goldeneye.
His name was
Lucky.
Doug.
His name's
Like
Lucky.
Chris Doug. Star Wars Team Leader with Beaky.
He looks like a Chad to me.
Okay. His name was Mayo.
Mayo?
M-Y-O. Mayo.
Oh, Mayo. Sounds like a pet
Okay.
dog.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like it kind of looked like a one-eyed dog. It had that furry beard.
I don't like you, and my dog Mayo doesn't like you either.
Okay.
We're wanted men.
How many Naboo Palace guards were there?
50.
300.
No.
10.
Higher than CJ, lower than you.
100. 115.
130. No.
Don't say 121, you dick. Don't you do it.
13.
I thought it'd be 300 because it'd be like King Leonidas and 300.
Nope.
I don't know.
145.
69. No, it's 96 because of inflation.
How many?
150.
Oh God, you were so close, CJ.
I was too.
Okay, during the Clone Wars, R2-D2 was stolen by a thief and brought to Grievous on Ruusan. What was the name of that thief?
God, I can't remember his name. I know exactly what he looks like though. As soon as you said it.
Remember Grievous stabs him in the back?
Yeah. He's a
right?
No. He was a
Which I'm going to butcher this dude's name. I'm just telling y'all that right now.
I can't remember his name. I know exactly because Grievous gets mad at him and just kills him because he wanted more money for R2 for having the secrets. Because originally, Grievous thought R2 was the main reason why Anakin kept succeeding. And they got all the...
Did you say Cad Bane?
I don't know. Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I didn't...
No, I don't know. I can't.
Chad Nick or God Nick.
He's a
the dude's name is spelled GHANACHKT.
Gahanach.
Yeah, some shit like that. I told you I was gonna butcher his name. Hinge McCringleberry. Hingle McCringleberry. Yeah, but that was his name. Okay. What was the first beings that Palpatine shown his xenophobia towards?
Rhodians.
For y'all that don't know what xenophobia is, it is people that don't like other races or other species of people.
We here in America just call that racist, don't you know?
Well, we all the same. We're all humans, but
yeah.
Xenophobia is talking about like if you was like racist against a monkey. Did y'all hear that stupid shit? They're talking about changing the name of monkeypox because it's racist against monkeys. Like what monkey is saying, "Hey man, you can't." Yeah, they were talking about that shit on the news.
Curious George is very upset right now.
I was like, "What the hell?" Like a monkey can sit back and be like, "Hey man, y'all can't call it that." What about chicken pox?
Oh yeah, Gungans? Is that?
Yep,
is that
it was Gungans. Bodie got it right. It was Gungans. Yeah, but they was really talking about that shit. Like on the news, they're talking about it's going to be like 8 or whatever, some numbers and some letters. Like
what's that monkey's name from Planet of the Apes?
Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar. No! Caesar comes up. No, that's racist.
Like what? Like monkeys don't even know anything about racism and shit like that. So how the hell are they gonna know? And then what? Are you gonna change chicken pox after 1,000 years of it being called chicken pox? You know what I'm saying? And now the chickens is mad. Like when I heard that shit, I said, "What the fuck is wrong with the world?"
Piggy is not happy about this. Let me tell you.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, that shit was on the news, like the regular news. Like, really? Are y'all serious? Like monkeys are mad because we call it monkeypox. They don't even know that we calling it. They don't even know that they're monkeys. Like they don't know what the hell they are. They just are. I was like, that is just outrageous. I was like, holy shit, that is crazy as hell. Now, that was a good episode. Thank you, Bodie, for arguing with us.
Thanks for giving us a 40-minute rant to attack you. I appreciate it. I don't get feisty very often. When I do, I'm glad it's towards you.
Now you just need a dose of Sekis.
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
A dose of Sekis.
I need a Snickers because I ain't acting like myself.
I do like doses of Suckies.
So we got
When
anything else?
I drink.
I need to
No.
go buy a new phone.
I
Yeah, we do. Okay, so next week
Oh yes.
we got to go there.
Yes.
So Saturday, oh shit, I'm not prepared. The Mojo Ranger Domo from Book of Boba Fett, whatever his name as an actor.
After we just got done shit talking Boba Fett. Yeah, good job.
Hey, he was one of the best characters. I liked him. He was funny.
Yeah, but we wished him death like 6 out of the 7 episodes we saw.
Yeah, he was annoying. I didn't
But that-
like. I liked
Which means
Reva.
he was a good actor.
Yeah,
no,
he
like,
played his part good.
Yeah.
That's what I expect from an actor. If like everybody's like Reva can't act, she's a bitch. That's her position. She's supposed to be a bitch. That's why I don't. You supposed to like
Kyle,
me. She's
did you see
pissing you
Tori's
off.
comment?
That dude was annoying as shit. The only person I don't give that to is Jar Jar because that dude. Fuck.
Oh, bull
God,
crap.
Jar Jar sucked.
I
Poor
think,
him.
dude,
Poor
in
him.
order to play Jar Jar, you have to be like one of the greatest actors of all time. I want to meet this guy. I want to shake his hand because
I
in
wanna-
order
I
to
wanna-
play a character,
We're gonna
that
get him on the show.
infuriating.
Well, I don't know because
Like,
he got
bro.
death threats. Like people threatened his life.
I think the actor is a legend to play
Yeah, he-
that part. He's a legend.
Kyle, did
Yep.
you see Tori's comment about the Dos Equis thing?
It's a Mexican beer. You made it sound Japanese when you say it. I don't know. I ain't never drink it. I just know the
It's
commercial.
not good.
when
It
it's-
tastes like ass.
I knew where the commercial. I knew where the commercial, but I knew where CJ got the shit from. What he was saying. Yes, Chris, it's the 100th episode. So one of the things, like, so we're gonna get. I can't see. I'm. This is what happens when you get MS brain. What's his name? What's the actor's name? The Mojo Domo.
Mojo
on
Domo.
Book of Boba.
Wasabi from.
He's played in a bunch of other stuff too. That's not the only thing he's played in. Oh, why can't I think of his name? But anyway, he's coming on the show next week, and then I don't know how long he's gonna be on because he said he has some other stuff to do. So he's probably gonna come on. We'll do the little interview stuff and just talk to him about stuff, and then when he gets off, but what we're probably
His
gonna
name
do
is
if
David. I can't say his last name. David.
Piscesi?
yeah,
Yeah.
Pesquesi or
But
whatever.
his name is Mark Shaiz.
But if he has to leave the show earlier, then we're gonna put in the chat. We're gonna put the link to the show and get everybody on here for the impossible quiz. We're gonna do a special impossible quiz so everybody can yell out fucking shit instead of trying to put it in the chat. And Tori's gonna have to be at work, so it's gonna suck.
Yay! I love you, but yay!
And that all depends. Like I said, that's all gonna depend. And then Sunday we got Shamila. I think that's how you say it. Daver. Or Denvar. I don't know how to say her name. I'm suck at names. Everybody I'm sorry. But we're recording her episode on Sunday, and that will come out on the following 10th because I have to work, and Garrison has his brother's wedding to go to, so
Cheers.
we won't be live on that Sunday. We just want to give you a fair. We'll be live on Wednesday, and then hopefully I'm working on some other people coming on. We got
Some possibilities.
Yeah, we got some possibilities coming. I can't think of everybody's name right now. I hate when I can't think of shit. But so that's what's coming up in the near future. So we got some exciting shows coming, hopefully pretty soon. A lot of fun. So we thank you guys for, coming and hanging out with us every week. Bodie, Chris, Star Wars team leader, Tori, you don't count. She gonna kill me.
Yes! I'm gonna get the brute end of this, but yes!
And Clint, we appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. And Marcus, we gave you, or Malcolm, we gave you a shout out. So Marcus, or Malcolm, damn, why I keep saying Marcus?
I don't know.
Marcus must be talking about me. Malcolm, definitely come and hang out with us on when you get a chance. We'd be more than happy to get some of your opinions, and everybody else, like we said before, let everybody know, any Star Wars fans that let them know about the show. We're growing, and we're trying to, we're trying to make this a phenomenon. The most outrageous Star Wars show, because we just are idiots, and we just say outrageous shit.
That's
so
true.
we having fun. So I guess that's it for today. We will see you guys Wednesday. Peace. May the force be with you.
Thank you for tuning in to LSR. If you've enjoyed the show, consider subscribing so you can be notified when new episodes are released. If you would like to be a guest on the show or just want to give us some feedback, feel free to email us. You can also reach out to us on all major social media platforms. LightSaber Radio is produced by PicFilm Media and is a Swaycast original, starring Kim Lanise, Garrison Turcott, CJ Elliott, and Kyle McDaniel. And don't forget to join us next time for more adventures in a galaxy far, far away.